Have you guys all been therapy before?
I have.
Yeah.
Shy.
Yeah.
He's like that, yeah.
I want to circle
Actually,
back.
you know what I'm working with?
No, I haven't still.
You haven't?
Nah, do you know what it is? I think the only thing I've been to is like, you know, like, and it doesn't really class as anything, but it's the only thing I can think of that's anywhere remotely close is like when I was in school and that, and they do like anger management, and then they do like black gifted and talented.
Oh.
That kind of stuff.
You say black
Like-
gifted and talented.
Yeah,
They actually call it black gifted and
black gifted
talented.
and
literally called.
Crazy.
It was
No.
literally
South
called black
London,
gifted
isn't
and
it?
talented. Yeah.
Yeah, South
Black
London.
gifted
In
and
North
talented.
London,
It's
they
literally
don't
called
add
black
the
gifted.
Bro, you know what that's
race.
moving like?
So
You know,
dumb.
I don't know, one of these shows, like these American shows, like, I don't know.
Oh,
man.
were they, Beyond Scared Straight in that?
Yeah. Like, black gifted talented is crazy.
Black gifted and talented.
That's wow.
We had something called Jack Pesci speaking
Oh,
and
yeah.
listening or something like that. Speaking on something.
That's actually
Jack
jokes.
Fish. Oh,
You reckon you know that one?
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Something like
And you
that.
had to be like awarded for it and stuff like that.
I
Yeah.
remember that
for
still.
real?
Yeah. And then there's gifted and talented. We didn't add the race, but there's gifted and talented.
Black gifted and talented. Was it black people running it? Do you remember?
Like there was not just black people, but yeah, there was like a white person.
was it a
There
school initiative
mainly-
though?
Yeah, it was mainly in our school still, yeah.
Oh,
So
okay.
no, yeah, it was in our school. It was in our
Oh,
school
okay,
sort of
okay,
thing,
yeah.
innit? So then there was someone that came from outside to do it. And then basically, like, every so often we'll get taken out of a specific lesson, but it'll be like a PSHE lesson. Or
Okay,
something like
yeah,
that.
yeah,
Do you
yeah.
get what I'm trying to say? Like, it was rarely ever a serious
I
lesson.
used to get
think
bare
maybe
jealous
one
when
time.
we used to get taken out of lessons and stuff still.
Nah, it was 6.
Yeah, man. You know, stuff
But-
like even I wasn't in the football team, so stuff like when them not going football and that, fam, I was bare jealous, man.
The thing is, though,
Yeah.
yeah, it was very much like, don't get it twisted, yeah. Everyone that was there, like my brothers and all that kind of stuff, yeah. Like, we were all talented in it, but like, we were all like not well behaved, innit? Do you get what I'm trying to say? So it was kind of like, do
They,
you get what I'm trying to say?
they
It was
took us
almost
out.
like,
They took us out straight away though.
what do you mean?
Behavior, so, like, gifted and talented, regardless. If your behavior was bad, they're kicking you out of that thing
Swear.
straight
Because
away.
it's a privilege, isn't it?
Yeah, straight away.
Nah, they didn't really kick us out, to be honest.
I told you they took us on
I
a
feel
trip
like-
to Cambridge one time to try and inspire us. Like, oh, you know, this way you should aspire to. One of my brothers, we took coach there, yeah. He done something dumb on the coach, like left a sting bomb. I never saw him again. On one of the trips, never saw him again. What's
Oh,
mad
man.
is that out of the Mandem, he was the smartest, like
Mm.
by far.
Mm.
Like,
Mm.
as in Mandem, you know,
Yeah.
you got the batch, bro. He
Yeah.
was natural,
Yeah,
innit?
yeah,
So
yeah.
for him not to be there was a big thing still.
Yeah,
But yeah, behavior they were on it still.
Stink bomb on coach.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know
Stink bomb on
these-
coach is
But bare that stuff used to
crazy.
happen. Bare
Yeah.
that stuff used to happen. back
And
in the
actually, even though it stinks, it's funny.
Bro, you have to pull up and get out of the coach.
No,
The hell?
They don't put
day.
up
Nah,
shit.
Stick one on
just keep going,
coach.
bro. You
Yeah,
keep
they
going.
put up-
It'll fade after 5 minutes.
Yeah, it'll go.
What?
That's
That
it.
figure is crazy.
Did you go?
Eh?
Did you go mixed school or girls?
Yeah, mixed. I could not do it as single sex school.
Oh, is
Oh,
it?
for real?
Why?
I would have got kicked out straight
I
away.
swear, why?
Yeah. I know. It just, no.
Do you know what it is? It's so funny. Is there a bare passion like in like just straight like girls' schools?
There must be still.
Yeah, there
I guess
must
I'm
be,
even just thinking about just people that I know that went to girls' schools, like my relationship with them and versus my relationship with people who went to mixed schools, and there's a difference there.
Oh, swear.
Yeah, for sure.
What's the difference?
To be fair, do you know what? I know people say the whole like, oh, man hungry. I don't even look at it that way. I think it's this. Some of them are actually more emotionally in tuned, to be honest, because you're around females and stuff. But
Yeah.
then sometimes, I guess, in friendships or relationships, it can come across as codependent a little bit.
Okay.
So if they haven't done that work on themselves, sometimes it can be a bit strenuous in the relationship.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I just. My mum didn't even she didn't watch. We all went to mixed schools, but my sister, yeah, she got kicked out halfway through, and the only school that would take her was a girls' school. So she did 2 years in girls' school,
Okay.
and even that it was just like, yeah, but no.
There's a lot.
That's funny. I don't remember like the decision to go to a boys' school.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean? Like as like
Yeah,
in year
yeah.
6 it was kind of just like I'm just getting to school, innit? So I didn't really think about. And I think so some of the men from church went there. Just like okay, I'm there with them lot school kind of thing, innit? So that was the reason why.
Yeah.
Other than that, I didn't really have any.
They're my brethren.
Yeah,
My brethren were getting to my school, innit? So my brethren from primary school, brethren from the area. So I was just like,
Just made sense, innit?
I'm gonna go there. And remember, my mum and dad told me, but years later, that we moved from where I used to live, like about an hour away. Let's say 45 minutes, an hour away. So we were looking at schools near my new house, but they were like 5 minutes away from my new house.
Mm.
And my parents worked like deep south.
Mm.
So their thing was that, listen, you can't be 5 minutes away from home. We're not going to be home till 6.
Yeah.
And you're going to be home at like 3:30.
Yeah.
You're going to be by yourself for all that time. They're like,
Can't
no
do
way.
it. Yeah.
We both need to be coming home at
The same time.
the same time, innit? But I didn't cook. That's why they were. Because I used to cook. Why are you not encouraging me to go so far? Because I thought it was going to be a fight. Like, I want to go here. But they were like, no. They were like, go through. Do you get me? I was shocked, but
yeah.
But yeah.
Do you not think there's a difference between man that went boys school and mid school? Or can you see a difference?
The guys that went, this is actually so, like, this probably doesn't make sense. Because I've got cases on both sides in it. But a lot of the time, I actually felt like they were a bit more mature.
The man that went boys school?
Yeah.
So yeah.
Do you know what it is, yeah? Like,
well, we were
not to be fair.
No. That was
I hear it, but it was just like, do you know what? Not more mature. I think when it came to certain things, yeah, so there will be less like showing up for girls and that. Do you get what I'm trying to say? Because of the fact that you go to a boys' school.
Okay.
Do you get what I'm trying to say?
Okay.
And I feel like in terms of just like being on what you say you're on all the way through end to end, going to a boys' school was a bit better for that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you get what I'm trying to say?
It's not something I haven't thought about still.
Yeah, do you know what it is? I think the only thing I'll say is that I think boys' school, there's no pretense per se. Like, there's no one to impress.
Yeah.
Do you get me? So,
Did you guys all go to boys' schools?
No,
we did.
Mixed school.
We went to mixed school. Yeah, there's no pretense.
Wow. I just wanted to ask.
Do you know what's so funny? Why people like, you know, like when someone says like, cool, they're in a certain industry, industry like yours,
Yeah.
all of a sudden it's like,
Honestly, I don't even like when people ask me, I'm like, oh, what do you do? I try to find different things. Because if they say, oh, what do you do? And I say,
can you read my mind?
Yeah, can you read my mind? Firstly, I'm not a psychic. But yeah, like it just goes, and I'm just like, I'm just here to have a good time,
honestly.
Literally, so.
Then the game's night turns to a therapy session.
No, honestly.
Hey, I feel like, bro, when that's happened, I've enjoyed it, man.
Yeah, to be fair, the time that's happened has actually been quite enjoyable.
It's been very enjoyable.
When you pull the therapist and have a conversation.
Not even. There wasn't actually a therapist in the room, but it's just like where we just sit and we actually talk.
Yeah.
Remember you did that thing where it was like hot seat.
Hot seat in the middle, yeah.
So everyone just takes turns and sits in the seat.
Yeah.
And then it's like, yo, like.
So that's actually called open circle, actually.
Oh,
yeah, it's called open circle. So, so yeah, when you're doing training in psychology, so every time you've got class, you do open circle. So everybody has to speak about like what's happening with them, etc. So it's all a part of, kind of being vulnerable and learning to kind of look at your unconscious biases and stuff like that. So
kind of reminds me of you know that thing that you started doing, the waffle thing?
Oh, for Wednesday.
Yeah. Just send messages and this is what's going on and that.
Yeah.
I might start incorporating
my friends
that.
tried that.
Hey, it's good, you know.
I haven't seen that happening in about a year.
We're enjoying it, man. We're enjoying it still. And it's funny because I always kind of forget. There's always one person that usually starts it.
That's
when she
good.
starts, it's like, okay, it's Wednesday. And it kind of comes around very quick as well. I've been enjoying it.
I'm due to start it still.
You should, man.
I just feel like, bro, like, bare the friends that I've got, it's like, that I'd even want to do that with you, bro. They'll just be telling me. The maddest thing is, Waffle Wednesday is actually not for me as a person.
Where?
Because I can't stand waffle. Do you get what I'm trying to say? Like,
it's just a term, isn't it?
So, for example, like the other day I was chatting to my missus about something, and then she was giving me like the whole like gist of the situation, innit? And I was just like, do you know what it is? Like, let's get to like the outcomes and so
solution focus.
It's kind of like what happened though, innit? Do you get what I'm trying to say? Like, so alright, cool, what happened, yeah? But then it's like, let's say she had a conversation with someone, so like at work and all that kind of stuff, and it was about something else. She's like talking about the situation, but then she's talking about like the nuances of like, so and then she looked at me like, and then boom, 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 or whatever it is, or something like that, yeah. And I was just like, alright, cool. And obviously, remember I've been telling you like that work has been mad. So it was like, I was like, alright, let's get there. Do you get what I'm trying to say? So I don't know, but obviously the Waffle Wednesdays is like a catch-up thing. So every once in a while, me and my friends will be like, let's do like updates in it. So we'll send like pictures or videos of our kids into the group, just so everyone can see like how everyone's growing and all that kind of stuff. Because you know it's the thing where you see them, where you lot see them all the time, it's different for you lot, innit? But then it's like for people that don't see them all the time, the next time they see them, they'll be fully grown.
My Benjamin's kid, I definitely need to do that more. I can't remember who. One of them and them FaceTime me with his son. I was like, okay, like this actually makes bare sense because I haven't seen it in time kind of thing. Innit?
Nah, it makes
But
sense.
it's bare sense to do, fam. Just like, bro, like, let me see a picture. Like, what do you do? Like, kind of know. I think it's not something that I would ask.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? It's not something I would ask, but yeah, it makes bare sense though.
Yeah.
But yeah, with the Waffle Wednesday thing, it's like you kind of it's just updates. So even if there's nothing to say, kind of thing, certain people might be like, oh yeah, like you lot right, kind of thing. There's nothing really to say. Really
and you can't be too pressured to make it.
Yeah,
I think, get me
the
sick.
thing is,
like, just whatever it is.
I feel like it would be better if it was like monthly though, because like every week is a bit mad.
Remember certain, but every week, not everyone does it though.
Yeah.
Not everyone does it every week still.
Okay. The aim is for everyone to do it every week.
And that's why
not everyone does though, innit?
Yeah.
But it's just quick updates though. So it don't need to be like, this week I got a promotion. Like, it's like, bro, this week was a long week. Like, done that work. Listen, I ain't really been around. But you can leave it. As long as you kind of know what's going on. Because, fam, you're on Instagram, you feel like you know everyone's life.
You
know what I mean? You feel like you're connected. Fam, you don't know nothing.
It gives you that false sense.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's mad as well because when somebody doesn't post on Instagram for time sometimes, it's like, oh, bro, like, this person hasn't actually, like, posted what's going on. Obviously, stuff is going on.
Yeah, facts.
I can't lie, I remember the first time someone chatted me about that. They were like, oh, like what going like, don't see that. This is when I first jumped off Snapchat, innit? Like, I don't see you posting on Snapchat or nothing like that no more, innit? And that, bro, I genuinely felt like, bro, like, yo, like, that's what I've done.
That's what happened to me with Snapchat, actually. I haven't been on Snapchat in...
What years?
I think I came off around, 2016, 17. To be fair, I came off because I didn't have enough storage and I thought, listen, you can... let me just remove you. And maybe only one person checked in. Like...
Were you a proper poster though? Like, did you...
Not really. Like, it was just like here and there. I don't know. Anyway, that's fine.
I guess that's the difference. Man, what? I was...
Yeah, you used to.
Yeah, you used to.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, but still.
You used to.
But it was just like... Because I was always out them times as well.
Okay.
So I was just like, always...
basically vlogging, bruv.
Yeah,
bro,
basically.
Bro, I saw a video from like back then, the other day, and I was like, see me now, like, not that I can never, but it's just like, bro, like, I think I was chatting something about like when man came back somewhere and I saw like 2 rats or something like that, and I was just like, bro, like, what? Like, listen, like, this is, I'm annoyed that I'm listening to this. Do you get what I'm trying to say?
Honestly.
Oh, days, mate. That was a time still.
Yeah, it was crazy still. Do you not watch like, basically my missus watches bare YouTube, innit? So she was watching Mr. Beast.
Okay, good.
And that.
I was just watching an interview with
Steve.
Yeah.
I was gonna get.
Had you got an interview?
Yeah, it just recently came out.
I haven't watched Steve Bartlett in a while, but if I see, it depends who the guest is.
Yeah.
So now I've seen Mr. Beast. It's like, cool. Let me hear what he actually has to say.
I don't watch. Like, again, my missus has watched all of those interviews. I haven't watched one.
Oh, so
Stephen Bartlett.
It depends on who it is.
Yeah.
So when bare footballers were going on there, Karen Brady's one's very good. Have you seen Karen Brady's one?
I haven't seen her one.
What's your favourite one, Karen Brady?
Probably Karen Brady. I enjoyed Gary Neville's one. Patrice Evra's one was good as well.
Do you know what I really liked Davina McCall's one, you know?
I don't think I watched Davina's one.
Yeah, no, it was really good.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
I'll check it out.
One that my missus likes is the Jordan B. Peterson one.
Oh, I haven't watched that one either. But there's a recent one of him on there, kind of. I think he's been there on there a couple of times now. Because he's like
agnostic,
like a believer in
he's
Christ or something, but he doesn't believe in. There's something. Yeah, there's some sort of like. But then more recently, I think he now said that he believes that Jesus is God now. But that was kind of like
big
recent.
thing. Yeah,
so I haven't circled back and watched that actual thing because everybody's kind of seen his journey of. You get what I mean? Like the believing and not believing and stuff like that. And now it's like a thing now. But it was on the Stephen Bartlett. I think
he does like a series, This is free promo, but he does a series like about like he goes through, so for example, there's one about like Exodus and then there's one about the Gospels, and it's real, like if you're not like, to be fair, it's for anyone to try in it to get, but it's like real deeply intellectual, but like also interlinking sort of like almost like psychological principles into like the word and how we interact with the word and certain parts of it as well. But they really look.
Is it like a round table?
Yes.
I've seen it. I haven't watched it yet, but I've seen that.
With other people,
Yeah, with other like quite like astute, like.
Are they known people?
They're known in that sort of theological kind of world in terms of a lot of them are like the peakest Cambridge lecturer on XYZ and ones are scholars.
Is he Jewish?
He could be, to be fair. I don't know.
Yes.
But then even on that round table, so on the first one, where it was Exodus, he had someone that was Jewish.
Okay.
So not Christian, but Jewish.
Yeah.
On the one where he's done the Gospels, he had someone that's he's not actually basically agnostic or atheist, to be honest.
What is
Like,
agnostic?
agnostic means that. So atheist is that.
Atheist, you don't
Yeah, you don't
believe.
believe in God.
Agnostic, you believe there's something, but you don't know what.
identify
Yeah.
it.
don't identify.
Okay.
The funny thing is about agnostic, the way that's used more time nowadays is like in
Yeah.
business
Yeah.
speech. Because out here, completely agnostic to it. Like, basically, it's basically a nice way of saying you don't care what's going on. Just do whatever. You get. But yeah, man. But it's good still. So she was watching that. She watched another one. I don't know if it's the Karen Brady lady, but there was one where she was talking about like the effects of fasting.
Oh, okay.
Mm.
And they're just talking about how, obviously, you know, like if you fast for like, again, I might be getting this wrong yet, but because it's paraphrasing from time ago.
Mhm.
But there was one where it was like, if you fast for like 3 days, yeah, like your cells start to regenerate.
Oh,
and
100%,
stuff like that and
yeah.
stuff like that. So it's really good for your body and that to just do that.
Yeah, I've heard of that.
And it's so
Dry.
good. You know when you think
Yeah,
about all of these
literally.
things, yeah, you know all of like these biblical principles, bro. Like,
Yeah.
bro, it's mad how it all like intertwines, bro.
Mhm.
Like in terms of like, bro, it actually benefits you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you get what I'm trying to say?
Mhm.
Like, you know, the whole like everything's permissible, yeah, but not everything's conducive, yeah. It actually benefits you not to overindulge in
In
anything.
anything.
Mm.
Do you get what I'm trying to say? Because that's how you get attached to it, for
Yeah,
example,
yeah,
and all
yeah.
that kind of stuff. Or da. Isn't not acting like this is my bag or anything like that, but
Yeah.
I'm just saying in it. But even like overeating and certain things, like something might taste so lit. You know, like for example, I used to do the thing here where it's like, fam, if I taste something and I like it, I smash that button. Do you get
Same.
so?
Mm.
Remember
Same.
when I used to like the calamari at Basaba
Yeah,
E-Town?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, you used to
I was on the roads.
Yeah.
Stratford, quick, boom, go and get it. Do you get what I'm trying to say?
So
Like,
it's
I
like
was
an
snapping
addictive
off.
trait.
Yeah.
Do you get what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
But my thing was like, to be honest with you, I feel like it stemmed from the fact that where I didn't get everything I wanted when I was younger, all that kind of stuff. Now I've got the means to do it.
Yeah.
If I like something, I'm gonna
Yeah,
make
yeah,
sure
yeah.
I
do that
enjoy
thing
what
as
I
well,
like.
I
Do
do
you
that
get what I'm
thing as
trying to say?
well. I'll like a particular snack. It might be a particular biscuit.
Yeah.
And I'll bang that biscuit for like
Biscuit,
2 months.
yeah, it's
Mhm.
crazy.
Back.
No, I
And
hear
after
it.
that, one day it just won't really slap. Like
Yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah. I
So
hear
So
it.
when you
get
do
it.
nothing like that, you know.
So,
When it comes, no, I don't. There's nothing that I'm like. I'm very indifferent to a
Mm.
lot of things.
Mm.
Like my missus even like she'll ask me, like, we'll go out, how was the food there? I'll be like, it was calm.
it's cool, yeah.
She's like, fam, use another descriptive word. Like,
Yeah.
But I'm like, no, generally, for food to be bad, it has to be proper bad.
Mm.
Do you get me?
Yeah.
Like,
Mm.
it has to be bad. Do you get me?
But you do have certain things that you like that you are your go-tos.
Yeah, but I haven't got the thing where I'm like, I keep
Sesame,
like,
Okay.
sesame prawns on toast.
but
Bro,
no,
you
but
get what I'm trying to say?
No. But
Bro,
that's
the other
when,
day, yeah. The
that's
other day,
when I
order
get-
Chinese, yeah.
that's when I get Chinese though.
The
Like,
other day,
Okay.
we ordered
I won't
Chinese,
order that.
yeah.
Like,
And it was like-
Monday, Tuesday, when.
Yeah.
No, but no, we weren't Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and all that kind of stuff. But it was just like
He said he was doing
Nah,
it for
but
2
you
months.
Man.
We banged it.
that's jokes. So that
Oh,
is very
and every
funny.
time I feel like,
and I do hear it
Says
though,
we
because
put
it's
on
all
toast,
like
I won't
it's
go
all
and get
scale in it.
Yeah.
every time I feel like it, I won't go and get it. It's just that. But if I'm ordering Chinese,
Yeah, no, I hear it.
I'm ordering it.
From there, and you're getting sesame prawn toast. So, for example, the other day, yeah, I was thinking he's ordering it for Chinese, innit? When he's coming to my house, yeah. And then, so I ordered what he told me to order, yeah. I just know how much he likes it.
Oh,
So I ordered it. In fact, he was elated when it arrived. Like,
Yeah,
when he
you
opened the bag and you saw it, he was like, "Oh, you got it."
No,
So you did do that. So you did do
He's
that.
gassing. He's actually gassing, by the way. I
So you
done
didn't do
I done
that.
it with everything. Like, oh, right, you got. Because,
No.
because basically,
that one was
I
different.
gave him the order, innit?
Yeah,
So imagine I
yeah.
give him the order, then you just got other stuff. I'm like, right, what? You got, I done it with the calamari, I done it with the prawn
And then
crackers. Like,
even
fam.
to the extent yeah, that he offered someone else like sesame prawn, I think like my missus or his missus, yeah, and he was like, and when they were like, no, he's like, oh, you don't like sesame prawn, so it's definitely my missus then. But yeah,
Yeah, but fam, essentially,
He
KC,
loves it,
I-
So how did that feel when he looked at you and realised, oh, do you know what? I'm going to check for my friend. I'm going to get my friend something that they
No,
really
man, I
like.
appreciated it, man. Do you know what I mean? As always, man. Do
You
you
tell
know
him,
what I mean?
look at him when you're telling him. That's what I tell couples in therapy. You know what? Don't tell me.
That's actually so funny still.
Hey, no,
But
that's
you
hilarious.
can see I didn't add it though. I didn't add it to all that, fam.
Yeah.
Oh, fair enough.
But yeah, I don't know why, to be fair. Do you?
I'm kind of indifferent
I'm
as well, to be fair.
I do like it. I like prawns, like just in general. Anyway, so yeah.
Prawns make sense. The maddest thing is, yeah, you see thing with prawns, yeah, is that they're not that flavoursome.
Yeah,
so you can get it
make
across the
it.
board, yeah,
Mm.
and there's a standard flavour that if you like prawns, you'll just be all right with. Do you get me?
Yeah.
Like it's hard to get really wrong, yeah, but at the same time, it's not. it's kind of hard to blow your mind. Do you get what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, I think
It's just
you
like
know
a
Portugal?
standard.
The hotel in Portugal.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
People
yeah,
do say
that
it.
sounds
Was it? Hey, to a point
See,
whereby
again,
we're
but
like,
that
you know
one-
what? My missus was like, fam, should we just circle to that hotel quickly to get the prawns
That's
or
actually
in Portugal?
jokes.
Fam.
But the thing is, yeah, even
That
with
is
that,
still-
yeah,
It's good stuff.
like that to me, they were better than calm in it, but
Mm.
like it wasn't like
Was
it didn't
it
blow
sick?
my mind or nothing like that. Do you get?
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Use another descriptive word. It's funny though.
Yeah, sure. Use
That's
another
it, like,
word
use
still.
another adjective.
Oh yeah, fam.
Because bare times, again with me, I'm like, it's calm.
But it's generally because I don't find it like. To be fair, I could still describe it better. To be fair, than calm. To be fair,
Calm is
I
actually
could.
the go-to. I was like, yeah, it's right.
I could
Yeah, it's
still,
calm
but yes,
Are you quite nonchalant?
I am still.
I think he is. I think I'm probably a level above, but still can be categorized as
Relatively,
that.
innit?
Still,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't think we. You know, like they always say, it's London guys, isn't it? Like,
Yeah.
We don't use a lot of descriptive words, and I say, oh yeah, no, it's calm. Still.
And if
Even me.
you get it, you get it.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, yeah.
Even me, I started trying to. That's why I say lip bear because
Oh,
like,
yeah,
I'm trying to say
that's
something
lip
other than.
bear.
I'm trying to say something other than. Oh yeah, it's nice. So it's calm. Or
No,
it's
funny.
that's what,
Yeah,
it's lip
you
still. I say lip bear. innit?
No, that's lit.
Yeah, like,
So
bro.
it's something more exciting
Yeah,
than
yeah,
calm.
yeah.
A little bit of
Yeah.
pepper there.
That
You know
is
that-
funny. still.
Do you know what it is as well? Do you know where it kind of stemmed from? Yeah, you know the whole thing where it's like, weirdly enough, yeah, like see the way that man's growing up here. Basically, when you don't have you make do in it, yeah. And then it's like a thing where so when certain achievements are met by others, yeah, like for man, it's kind of like what's next in it kind of vibe in it. Like so, for example, yeah. Now understand this is what I'm saying from before, yeah. It'll be like, oh, yeah, like man made it to gym and XYZ and boom, boom, boom in the morning and da. Normally, man would just be like, just wake up on time, bro. I'm in the gym, bro. Like, do you get what I'm trying to say? It's not impressive, innit? But then, yeah, obviously, when you start to understand that, cool, do you know what? It's long, like, for people to get up in the morning. It's difficult. You've experienced some long mornings yourself. Do you get what I mean? You're able to relate a bit more. So, oh, no, that's lit still. Like, as in, you're getting back in control of things.
Yeah.
You're in the driver's seat, boom, boom, boom. So then, now man can be like, oh, no, that's lit. Do you get?
Yeah.
But before, they'll say, I might not even say nothing.
Start looking at them.
I'm just,
Yeah,
I'm just
exactly.
thinking what's going to, like, what else is going to be said?
Yeah.
You know what's made me actually have to do it as well? Again, like, it's my missus. And just like, before my missus speaking with women, yeah, about like, just saying, oh, you look nice.
Mm.
So nice is
yeah,
very, nice is kind of meaty. That's what I've been told.
Oh,
innit?
yeah.
So
You
it's like, you have to use other adjectives, innit? So you look lovely, or you look gorgeous, or you look beautiful.
Hey, you're not
You're
this strong
Yeah.
still.
Because nice is like
You can say it. You can
Yeah,
say that to anyone, basically.
Yeah, you can say nice to anyone.
No,
So
but-
it's like,
I think
you
it's
know,
the way
use
that
other
you
words.
say it.
Mm.
Yeah, it's maybe the way that you say it, but also this is the thing: is that it's who you're dealing with in that sense.
Yeah.
Some people are fine with it, and some people know they want more. I usually say to people, use your words. Yeah, use your words. Like, what are you saying to me? Sometimes I know exactly what you're saying, but I'm going to say, can you elaborate a bit more? So it's for you, not for me personally.
yeah.
Like, you know, for you to just get more comfortable with yourself.
Do you
in
know
that
what's so
sense.
mad? I think in terms of like when I say like, so for example, someone looks nice, yeah, I know in my head what that means. Do you get what I'm trying to say? So I know exactly what, I know to a certain degree what I like. Do you get what I'm trying to say? Yeah. But then if you start asking me questions like, oh no, but what's nice about it? And that, yeah, it's kind of like, bro, like,
Please.
it's not even like I don't have necessarily a answer, but like,
I
for
said
goodness
it's
sake,
nice.
like, let me relax, bro. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, but I think nice is a good word still. Lovely, yeah, is a bit like,
Yeah, you
bro,
know,
it's
I
a
don't-
bit too.
I say nice, but not so much anymore. So I always try and say other stuff still.
That
So
one
you
though.
say you look lovely.
Like I said, it's a
Oh,
lovely.
the lovely.
yeah, but when you say
gorgeous.
lovely, do you do the thing where
Gorgeous
you,
is joke.
you say it in like a Cockney
I
accent?
can, or I
Because
can
it's
say it in
kinda-
I can say it in the joke.
Do you get what I'm trying to say? Because it's not
a
actually
normal.
man.
It's, yeah, you
Do you get what I'm trying to say?
Lovely. You get,
Yeah.
oh, you look lovely, you know.
You have to try.
You have to spice
You
it
have
up a
to
bit
try. Honestly.
So, I just make
Gorgeous.
sounds. I just be like,
still. Yeah, right,
I see.
Okay.
Do you get what I'm trying to say?
What works for you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
That
It's
is
fun.
funny still.
Because the funny thing is as well, when you start trying to say all these words you don't normally say, that's when you start messing up your English. Where it just comes out weird and awkward for me.
Honestly, it's true, you know. It's so true. One of my friends is hilarious. She predominantly speaks Yoruba, but like she tries with her English. So the way she says genuine, oh my
Genuine.
yeah.
Genuine.
Like,
Like-
she predominantly speaks Yoruba.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
like So she speaks English where she has to, but her English is really like,
Yeah.
you'd
She's
think that,
working on it.
yeah, do you know what I mean? So you'd think that she's only been here a few years, kind of.
Okay.
But yeah, she's no, like even when she says Brit,
Britical.
even me, I'm getting tongue-tied. So we got her perfume, so Britney Spears perfume, this a few years ago, and she was like, "Oh, Britannia." I was like,
Brit-
Hey,
That's crazy.
you're so funny.
Pretending.
As long as I've been here, bro, like I obviously born here as well, but like I still mess up certain
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, definitely.
crazy. I
Up
don't
until the
know.
pod, there's certain things I was saying permit.
Yeah,
You know what I was saying? Park and permit.
Yeah.
What else did I? There was something else that I said. Remit.
Yeah,
Instead of remit.
Oh,
Yeah,
That was,
one
bro.
is
That was. I
definitely-
feel like that was even last year that I said that. It wasn't even like
Yeah.
that was last year. I said
I
remit.
remember before, I had to say, I was like, petrol.
oh,
Yeah.
Petrol.
Hey,
Traffic it.
traffic key. I learned that when I was
Yeah, I
doing my
learned that,
lesson.
yeah. Same store.
What?
When I was doing my lesson, I
That's
was
not
like,
called traffic.
it's not
Yeah,
traffic
yeah,
key.
Yeah.
It's indicate.
Some guys like indicate.
trafficking.
Traffic.
Yeah,
key.
yeah.
Yep.
What country you from?
I'm from Congo.
Oh, from Congo.
Yeah.
Yeah, but fam, we
Oui,
used
je
to
parle
head.
français.
Hey.
You speak Lingala?
Yeah,
Okay,
Nalubal
okay.
Lingala, bien.
Ah.
Yeah, I'm good at my language, and we speak Swahili as well. That's my
Oh, is
tribe.
it?
Mm.
Right.
Yeah,
Okay,
so
That's lit
You're
still.
proper Rob. So how many
yeah,
languages? Four.
bilingual. Yeah, so well, I can speak 4, but my family speak 6, I
Oh,
believe, because
right.
they speak Dutch and Portuguese as
Oh,
well.
right.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Hey, that
Okay.
is lit.
What language do
Yeah.
you think in?
What language do I?
Do you think in?
Yeah.
That's a good question, you know.
You know what? It's true. So, to be fair, I think French,
Mm.
because I don't think my English is that great.
Mm.
But that's because in terms of it sounds it, but it takes me a while to say certain things. So I'm not thinking it in English.
Mm.
Oh, right.
Yeah. But when
Hey,
we
that's
were growing up, my family wouldn't. So they will, whatever they say to us, they say it to us in all the different languages.
Ah, that's sick
Oh,
still.
Yeah. So if they said go and get bread, they'll say it in all. So
sick
that's how
still.
you.
That's how you learn.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
it.
No,
And then
that
when you
is
were
so sick.
responding to them, would they want you to respond in all of them as well?
Yeah. So we didn't really speak English up until I got to maybe end of primary school. And I think it was a case of like, okay, we're now helping out my mum with her English,
Okay.
which was probably the worst decision because like my brother's not really good with, like he understands everything, but he's not really good at it. But I think if we continue to respond, it'd be completely different.
Mm.
Now my mum's English is really good, even though she thinks she'll still be like, oh, can you help me? You're better than so many of your peers.
Yeah.
But so I'm not speaking to my children in English.
Yeah. No, I do hear
you
it.
can do that. At
So
school.
what language?
Yeah.
What language do you speak to them in?
All of them. All of them. Literally.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's lit still.
That's sick still.
Yeah.
That's sick.
100%.
So what are the 4? So Lingala,
So
Swahili,
so English, Lingala, Swahili, and French.
and French.
Yeah.
So wait, does that make you like quadlingual?
Yes.
Is
Literally.
that is quadlingual actual?
I have no clue, but try one, isn't it? So
Yeah, exactly. I'm assuming. That's
Yeah.
quite that's sick though.
That's
I
proper.
just stick
That's
to
it.
bilingual, but to be fair, they've now expanded.
yeah.
Can you write in those languages?
Yeah.
All of them.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I'm better at writing in Lingala because I think it's very easy.
Okay.
With French it's also easy as well, but you just need to know like the accents and
Yeah,
stuff
yeah,
like
yeah,
that.
yeah.
So that French is actually quite a difficult language personally to learn, I think.
Okay.
I think it's easier if you can speak other languages. If you can't, then you will learn how to speak it, but to write it is a different thing. Yeah.
Until I started traveling in Europe, but I didn't really, language is kind of like, I didn't really understand the importance of it until you go to like France and it's like, obviously they can speak English or someone can speak English, but like when you're speaking to them in English, expecting them to speak back to you, they're looking at you like,
Yeah,
you're in
you've
France.
come here. Yeah, exactly.
Like, you speak our language here. You know what I mean?
Is the birth of all language like Tower of Babel? Is that everyone's like understanding?
Not every single language, no.
I don't
I don't
know.
know.
No.
To be fair, every African country was actually supposed to speak Swahili. That was actually supposed to be the national African language.
Oh, is it?
Oh, so-
Yes, it was. But I guess in the process of all of that,
Segregation.
and
Separated.
stuff, it only stopped at a few countries. So that's why there's quite a few countries within the East that speak it, within Central. So there's different. So it was supposed to actually spread,
Okay.
but it didn't. And I guess it isn't.
Yeah.
Because that would have been, especially for trades and just,
no,
it
of
would have been
course.
good.
Smooth,
Like, you
innit?
have your, because even within your country, you've got your the national language, and you've got your tribal language.
Mhm.
So, but
No, it's
Yeah.
pretty still.
Yeah.
The Tower of Babel thing, I remember. So you see recently the whole looking at apologetics and stuff like
Mm.
history and all that sort of stuff. I remember I think they spoke about or one guy was speaking about how there are usually quite a lot of links to languages with other languages, innit?
Mm.
But then there was, I think it's like, I can't remember, it's about a handful of languages that there was no link between any of the languages in it.
Mm.
And that's what he was kind of equating to when
Tower of
at the
Babel.
Tower of Babel, innit, at the time when
Oh,
they were
shit.
not able to understand
Yeah.
each other because it was all like separate languages that had
Yeah.
no like
Was
link
it
at
was it
all.
Wesley Huff?
I forget it was him, but he was
Yeah.
having a conversation with someone about it. I
Yeah,
think,
yeah.
I don't know who. I'm not too sure who
Yeah,
had
I think I
said.
remember the conversation.
I'm not sure who had said
Is-
it, innit?
Is there like when because I'm forgetting right now in terms of timelines, yeah. When did the Tower of Babel happen? Was it sort of post the flood or pre? It was post, innit? It
I
must have
think
been
it was post.
Must have
Yeah.
been post.
Yeah, it was.
Was
I think
it
it was
post? So if it's post the flood, is it post? Oh yeah, so it's therefore post like yeah, all of Isaac, Jacob,
Yeah.
all of that kind of stuff. Okay, cool, fair enough.
Yeah.
So yeah, so from that perspective, then that kind of makes sense because the thing is, yeah, like when like certain things happen, like Abraham with Lot and all that kind of stuff, fighting the 4 kings against the 5 kings, all that kind of stuff. But they were all, it's like they were all communicating. So I don't know if it was okay, cool. It was similar to like how you say like maybe French and Italian is, or and how it's very close. So there's certain things like un or una or something like that. Yeah.
Mm.
So it's like that's how they were communicating and they just got each other, or were they actually speaking the same language? Because how else would the languages come about?
Yeah.
Do you get what I'm saying? Especially when they've stemmed from 5 people
Yeah.
post flood. Do you get what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
Like, so they must like. How did the languages come about? Do you get
It's
what I'm
peak
trying to
still, and it's interesting. I'm sure there's
Yeah.
actually like a
say?
study,
theory,
yeah.
a proper study of that thing.
'Cause
What I clock with English and French actually is that, you know, like the TION.
Mm.
So you should say like, for example, you could say situation.
Yeah.
That's how you say it in French.
Yeah.
Right? So all like a lot of the TION words in English, you
Mm.
just say sion
Yeah.
in French.
Sure.
Fair enough.
Yes, true.
Citation, communication. Yeah.
Oh,
fair
yeah,
enough,
yeah.
that's true still.
Oh,
Language
He's
connoisseur.
in it.
Hey, what?
Innit?
That's what I thought. So anytime if I speak to someone in like, so obviously you know when like, that you meet people, like, oh, you speak
Yeah.
French. I'd say obviously you know the bonjour, then I say j'espère que tu vas bien,
Oui.
and then I'd be like, I'd just say some sort of ION,
Yeah.
so they think that.
You know.
That knows what I was talking about, innit?
that is actually hilarious. But then when they give you like,
What?
Yeah.
Feel back.
That's why that's why we merci.
we saying, oh, how you feeling? You be like, we.
Yeah.
I said bien merci. Et toi?
Yeah, no, I'm joking, obviously, innit?
Even to be fair, even with the way you're, and it's not even because of like, maybe because you're from London, the way that you're speaking French, because even the way that French nationals speak is completely different.
I've heard.
Yeah,
I've
so
heard.
even like how you said BML, so they use their
Yeah.
so it's a lot,
And
honestly.
it's just when, because we was talking about this the other day, literally, yeah, we were just talking about how, like, what's sneaky in London, yeah, it's not the
Oh,
same
yeah.
like, in like Portugal
Yeah,
or France, for
France,
example,
yeah.
But for example, yeah, you know, like, a lot of like, you know when you see like French Twitter or whatever it is, or their videos or whatever, and it's like, no, like, do you know what I mean? But that's like, if you done that here, it's like,
Do you know-
like, bro, like,
You know one thing I watched?
like, chill out.
You know the French football Twitter, yeah? Bro, they are flipping funny.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Bro, they are so fun. I don't
Is
know
it?
what they're saying, by the way, but it's the reactions.
Yeah.
The reactions and the commentary, bro, so funny.
Yeah.
It's like,
When someone gets megged or something like
when someone
that,
gets- bro,
mad,
oh,
some
is it?
screaming,
Crazy.
like,
I didn't even
proper
done one
funny
match. Bro, it was like Muslims versus Christians. Bro, it was
Oh,
fun. It was just so dumb, but it was funny. Bro,
true.
like the way they done it was funny still. I was even watching a documentary about Congo, about Patrice
Lumumba.
Lumumba.
Mhm.
Yeah, it was crazy.
He's the greatest man that's come from Congo, but he was assassinated.
Yeah.
and
Who is it?
killed.
Oh wait, is that the
so
one that was trying to get all of the, basically stop all the corruption?
Yeah, so he was
Yeah,
the
yeah.
prime minister. And yeah, so he was like one of the people that were trying to do well for Congo.
Yeah.
And I guess in the process of that, he was arrested and assassinated. To be fair, we always knew it was the Americans, but they only actually admitted it, I think about 4 years ago.
Oh, right.
Yeah, like they admitted like who actually did it,
Oh,
etc.
right.
Yeah. So yeah.
And it was what was his right hand's name again? The general that took over from him. Because who took over after? So who got him arrested? It was a general.
So at the time it was so he was the prime minister and wow, how can his name even leave my mind? He's the one that wears the leopard hat.
Leopard hat. Yeah.
So that's even where like the whole fashion stuff even. I can't believe his name definitely.
Yeah,
I study these things all the time. But yeah, so no, he was doing what he was doing, to be honest. Yeah, they should have been working together, but they weren't really necessarily against. It was just kind of every man for themselves.
Yeah. Because I was watching something that was basically speculating that him, with the help of the Americans, obviously got him arrested, got him killed, and then put him in a place of power just so that they could control what was going on.
It's always been like
that. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And he changed the name to Zaire.
Zaire. So he's the one that so it was Zaire and then they changed it to Congo.
Yeah.
I remember that. Do you know, this is probably one of the worst things to say off the back of what you lot say about intrusive thoughts on that. But you know, like, have you seen the video of like Zaire and like World Cup, like qualifiers or whatever?
No.
Like, I think it was like, I don't know if it was against like, I can't remember what team it was against here.
Well, he got far though.
That's
too much.
There was one where, so imagine they're taking a free kick here, and then someone from Zaire just runs out of the wall, beats the ball away.
I've seen that.
And it was just like, and he got a card for it. It was like, bro, like, what you did? It's too funny. But there was another guy. I don't think it's the same guy that you lot talking about. I tried to quickly Google it, innit? But I think it's like, I don't know if this is the guy either, but there's someone called like Thomas Sankara.
Oh, Sankara, yeah.
So he was the one. He was the one where he done the thing where like basically, I don't know if it was him. So let me just talk about the person that I'm talking about. Yeah, the person I'm talking about done the thing where they got they were trying to get rid of all corruption. So what they did was like everyone that was in like the government, all that kind of stuff, took away all of the fancy cars, all that kind of stuff, gave everyone bog standard cars, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, like just put everyone on the level playing field. Yeah. And like he was just doing bare different things like that, like making sure like money was traced and and all that kind of stuff, yeah, bro. Then like he was making change, yeah, bro. The way he got set up was by his close friend, by his like best friend basically. Yeah. They got to his best friend and his best friend set him up and they killed him.
Thing about Africa is, bro, and to be fair, let me not say
Crazy.
Africa, in a lot of places, isn't it? Do you get me? But case studies in Africa is that, bro, when you're trying to bring mass change,
it brings a
on
light
that
to
scale,
it.
Yeah.
It brings a light to bad.
Anyone that they see, because there's loads of people that, you know, come up for the elections. Obviously, we just see who they put up.
Yeah.
But the people who they can see are actually there to make change and stuff like that, they get assassinated in the process.
Yeah.
They wiped out.
It's actually so bad, bro.
It's crazy, yeah.
And the thing is as well, a lot of it is based on like, because they don't want like a revolt or like they don't want like a rising up basically of a certain nation and then it basically, so other nations are like, we're gonna lose our like place in the pecking order if this nation starts getting this traction or So for example, like one of the things that they always try to block, like, so do you know, so mad? Growing up all my life, yeah, like as a young person, yeah, I always thought Gaddafi was like some mad media.
Yeah, when he was the one that actually was a part of the initiative of all the countries.
Exactly.
Swahili.
It was almost like the whole, like, you see how you got like the Euro bloc, it would have been like an Africa bloc, like a Central Africa bloc, or whatever it is, but like, which is again like trading, one currency, all that kind of stuff. Like it would just think about how big Africa is.
And the flights to everywhere in Africa was supposed to be a set £450.
Do you get what I'm trying to say, bro? Like it's different, like, but and I remember just growing up thinking that he was like some evil guy. As soon as I got older, I remember one of the first times I actually who's the other one as well? The Ecuadorian. Am I talking? Is it the same person?
I'm not sure.
It's not because he's African, but then I remember there was another one as well. Yeah, I don't know why he's escaped my mind. But it wasn't until I've spoken to someone from Ecuador, yeah, and they're like, nah, like, boom, 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 like, we love him in Ecuador, and boom, 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 and this is like, and I was like, right,
no,
the media's peak.
No, that's in Mexico. You're talking about Hugo Chavez?
No.
It's Mexico.
I'll try and find it still.
The media thing is peak.
Huh?
The media thing is peak. The media patrol is too peak. When I realised that it actually really, really got to me, like as an adult, was there was a terrorist attack, and then when they showed the person who the terrorist was, it was a white person.
Yeah.
And obviously,
terrorism
it can
is just
be-
linked.
Do you get what I mean?
yeah.
Obviously, it can be a white person because terrorism is just a term in it that can be
Yeah.
attached to anybody. But I was like, raw,
Yeah.
they proper got me.
Yeah.
They actually proper got me
Mhm.
still.
It's peak still. It's peak. That Gaddafi one was peak.
Yeah.
Because I think, I was ready to talk about him. I think he was. And now someone got me his book one time.
Oh, is it?
It's called The Green Book, yeah. So he just had all of his economic policies, what he wanted to do. And it's like, fam, just wanted to bring unity. You get me? There's bare things he wanted to do to just bring Africa together,
Mhm.
like, you know, push away the West. Like, they're just using us as like tools in that.
And that's why
Fam.
Joe is as funny as it, not as funny as it sounds, yeah, but because obviously he's got like quite a lot of credible stuff, but so that's why sometimes I feel Dr. Umar when he's talking about like, listen, like the consciousness of the Negro. like if the Negro was to wake up,
You far Tunde.
No.
bro.
Yeah, that's just like it's bro.
Too funny.
It's too funny still.
Aye.
But
I remember you was chatting to me the other day about saying that, because I was saying that, listen, Joe is, remember we was talking,
Yeah,
me, you,
yeah,
and Joy,
yeah.
and I was like, bro, like, see with him, yeah, like, fair enough, like, when he first started out, bro, I was listening and I was thinking, nah, some of these takes are like on point, innit? Do you get what I'm saying? I hear what you're saying, yeah. But it's almost like become like a caricature because it's kind of like the extreme sort of nature of some of the calls now, or the some of his points anyway, yeah, it's so unrealistic that it's not achievable. And because of that, it kind of waters down your movement. Do you get what I'm trying to say? Because I feel like sometimes people associate and attach themselves to stuff that they feel like they can actually tangibly affect.
Yeah.
Do you get what I'm trying to say?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's like, as soon as it's kind of like, bro, I remember when he was doing them lives and he was like, oh, like, basically people to send him money for school and all that kind of stuff. I don't know, obviously I think he probably made a school or whatever it is, yeah. And then someone sent him like $20, he's like, trifling ass black.
Oh my days. Oh my
Like,
days.
bro, you don't know the concept of every little helps. Do you get what I'm trying to say? Like, it's crazy.
Yeah. Do you know what it is though?
Trifling
Like-
ass black.
Like everyone, yeah. So, like, now we're talking about Gaddafi. He done great things, but he also done things that weren't great.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean?
yeah.
And that tends to be the story with most people. So,
Yeah.
like we're saying with Dr. Umar, he says a lot of things that it's kind of outrageous. That I don't know why you said that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But for something he says, you know what? This is true.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But like you said, it's
My
hard.
friend,
It's
it
hard to
is.
digest because of the manner in which it comes across.
This,
Do you know what I
this
mean?
generation doesn't have respect anymore. Because imagine like getting a guy like him, yeah, getting him to come to sit down somewhere, yeah, and he bring like a white girl in his eye. This is my girlfriend and that. You know what you're doing, bro.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
you're
yeah,
you're
yeah.
It's like
literally pranking him. Hey, bro, like it's actually crazy, bro.
Yeah.
This generation have no respect. You know?
Nah,
Everyone is
none
fair
at
game.
all.
Everyone is fair game still. Crazy.
It's actually funny. So I remember I was saying the other day that me and my godson was at my house and something's poured in the kitchen, so I was sweeping it, innit? I looked at him, I said, "Bro, what?"
You want to come and take this?
I said, "What, do you normally just watch adult sweep?" He was like, no. I said, no, don't worry. I said, don't worry, you just stay there. I was just sweeping. I was just looking at it, bro. We were shaking, bro. I was like, yeah, man. You know, what? When I was younger.
Back in the days, they'll use the ballet to
What?
whack your leg.
Bang
fam.
your leg,
You know
fam.
you
You
do
sit
it
down.
and you lift up your leg.
What? No.
Yo,
Bang
whack your leg.
Nah,
that's crazy.
Come on, take this thing.
Imagine your kids now, like, imagine you're doing something and they're just like, oh, yeah, like, they move their legs for you to
Nah.
carry on sweeping. But it depends how old they are.
I can't wait to do that. Thinking of it.
What?
Come on.
Jokes.
No, please, me that I had to carry rice and stuff. No,
Fam,
you have
bro,
to be
I remember-
disciplined.
Serious
I
stuff.
remember I went to like one of like my like childhood like family friends' house here. Bro, they made us walk to the high street, yeah. Like in I think it was like Woolwich, yeah. And he lives like it's hard to explain. But anyway, like it was like a good like 15 to 20 minute bop, yeah. Bro, guess what they wanted us to pick up and come back with?
I remember you saying it at the table.
A table.
Yeah.
What? For what?
So me and him are carrying the table on the road, walking it back to the yard.
No.
Why?
Bro,
No.
like, bro, listen, like this is what man was
you
dealing
know,
with.
you know when they sent you on the errand, did they
Yeah.
tell you were going to get?
I didn't know
Did you
what
find
I
out
was,
when you got there?
I just knew I was picking up something. I didn't know what it was. I got there and I saw the table and I was like, bro, like,
Oh man,
it was actually and it was like summer as well. I was like,
oh, they waited.
fam, you just have to do it, bro. Like, it's crazy. I had to go back for the chairs as well, fam.
Oh,
No.
my days.
Yeah.
Chairs
Go
we
back
could
for
get
the
on the bus
chairs.
though. Chairs we could get on the bus
Yeah,
though,
wait,
innit? So that was a bit quicker.
That's
But
actually funny.
just like, fam, it's mad. But do you know what it is? Because obviously, our parents came from Niger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's normal,
go
bro.
and
get
They'll
work.
just put the table on their back and walk home,
Yeah.
bro. Like, do you get what I'm trying to say? Like, And then when we get here, it's like,
Put them
oh,
on
like
their back.
convenience. But it's just like,
Fam, dude, they'll find a way. So
Yeah,
I saw one
yeah,
video
yeah.
the other day, bro. This youth is unloading water from the like one truck in it, but like cases of like, let's say like liter water is like 6-pack of fam.
Yeah,
the way this
yeah.
guy is
It's
just
crazy.
like, it's like he even put one in his mouth
Huh?
and then he let like the whole thing lean on his back and he's just walking from like here to there to go and unload, fam. They're gonna find a way still.
Yeah, they all
They're
still.
gonna
he
find a
put
way.
one in his mouth.
Put one in his mouth still.
A 6 litre
I'll
bottle.
show you. I'll show you after.
So he was holding it.
I'll show you after.
His teeth are about to burst out of his mouth, bro.
There's only one thing I've ever refused here to carry, and that's stockfish.
Ah,
Mom and dad told me
No way.
to drive stockfish and
No
drop
way.
it at someone's
No
house. I
way.
said, I ain't doing that.
I'm not doing it.
I said, the car's going to stay. I
You're
can't
like,
do it. I said, I can't do it. I said, that's
Hey.
the only thing I was like,
I
listen,
feel like that gets in
I
your skin.
cannot do it.
I feel like you smell in your
Bro,
skin.
it's
when that
actually-
thing-
Something
that
like that
thing
other
is
day,
too
and I
peak
was just like, bro.
It's actually the worst.
Nah,
that
it's worse
that
than
smell,
racist.
yeah.
Do you remember one of the man that got a new car?
Oh, yeah.
And
yeah.
he did the
The
transport
Panda
thing. Bro,
Yeah,
hey.
yeah. Fam, they put
And they spilled juice.
They put the stockfish juice in them.
Bro,
Bro,
bro.
in the winds.
Fam, that thing was in that car.
Everyone's getting smoked. Like,
That thing was in that car for
everyone be like,
time.
bro, beam.
Fam, you have to leave that car open
You-
for days.
Panda juice. Bro,
And
that,
it's seeping its way into the
in
fabric of the
corner.
car still.
Oh, no.
Do you know what it is as well? You know when you've
Fam.
got like a parent that does like, for example, like catering or a lot of cooking.
Yeah,
for
yeah,
example.
yeah.
So for example, forget the catering one for a second. Actually, I just know like someone that had a parent that her mum used to like cook. Like I don't know how she managed it, but there was one time, yeah, that you know when you just hug someone saying hello and all that kind of stuff. Bro, like I can't even. It was such a sharp smell. Yeah, that hit like the sense of my brain. Fam. Like and I was like, nah, this is actually proper stew. Like with the like,
Hot stew, part one.
Nah,
It smell like
Yo.
hot stew, fam.
nah, it's mad. But the maddest thing is, yeah, obviously my mum was cooking that, yeah, but I don't ever remember smelling like, and I don't know it was a conscious effort to not smell like it. Do you get what I'm trying to say? Obviously, normally what I'll do is my clothes are in the wardrobe.
Yeah.
When you're about to leave, you go and get your clothes in the
Yeah.
wardrobe and then you
Yeah.
go
yeah,
out.
yeah, yeah.
I don't know if it's one of those things where those people were just already dressed and they were waiting while the
Really?
mum was cooking
Yeah.
in the kitchen or something.
No, I made that mistake though once still. Like, I got ready, went to chat to my mum in the kitchen, bro, I swear, 2 minutes. Not more than 2 minutes, hopped in the whip. My bread was
I
like,
can smell it.
hey, bro, you know you smell that? Oh,
Ah.
I was, bro, and we were
It's
mad
actually
late.
dread.
We were late till we were
Yeah.
going.
It's too late.
But I took off my t-shirt, I put it outside the car.
But I say you can't master
Did
that.
it-
a t-shirt.
pattern?
Yeah, a bit. I took off, like, I was wearing no top t-shirt. I said, there's no way I'm smelling that stew
The
going out.
maddest thing is what I would have
So I
done back in
can't.
the day, because I feel like I have made that mistake here. Like I would douse it in
Perfume.
perfume.
Bro,
No,
you have to
make
be
it
careful.
worse, fam.
Stew and
Yeah,
perfume
yeah,
together.
yeah.
Yeah,
Can
I
be-
know. It was a
can be
schoolboy
deadly.
era. It was a schoolboy
Yeah, you
era
have to
still.
put
but-
for a beat,
Yeah,
for breeze,
yeah.
neutralize
Yes,
it
neutralize
first.
the
Yeah.
odor.
It's
Bruv.
for a beep. That's what you said at first.
Huh?
You said for a beep at first.
Did I?
Yeah. So we're all messing up English together. It's good. It's good. But nah, you know, what I'm saying, you know the Febreze thing, but that's a relatively new thing though. They didn't really, because back in the day it was like Glade and you get what I'm saying? There weren't no
Well, the
there weren't no
power-
Febreze that would.
No, do you know, it's Febreze was there, but because obviously the pictures were just for like furniture,
Okay,
no one was thinking that you use it on your
for
clothes.
Yeah. Now what? Oh, Febreze, it runs rampant in my house. So
Honestly.
anything that goes on.
We believe that we serve a living God.
Hallelujah.
God is always speaking. God is active. And what we like to do is do testimonies just to shine a light on what God has done in our lives throughout the week.
Mm-hmm.
I'll go first today, actually.
This is you did a different thing.
Yeah, no, I hear it though. I didn't want to stop it, innit? I just let it go.
Because before I came, I was thinking, cool, how am I going to start this different? Because basically, every time I do it, I'm always like, I always mess it up because I'm trying to say the exact same thing each time, basically.
Mhm.
Right? I'll go first today. So I'll say I thank God for the Holy Spirit giving me inspiration. So it's nearly been a year since I've started doing like TikTok videos on like social media and stuff like that. And I remember at the beginning, I was like, cool, yeah, I'm gonna put like it in ChatGPT and that and see like what it can kind of help me do in terms of ideas and stuff like that. But then I haven't had to do that. And every week I've just been boom, 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 boom. In February I was doing every day, innit? So every day I'm posting something. But there's always inspiration to do things. And a lot of the time, like when I've actually been like, Holy Spirit, what do I post today? Those videos have done well in terms of the engagement and stuff like that. So I thank God for the Holy Spirit giving me inspiration still.
No,
That's
salute
sick.
still.
Amen.
Yeah, man.
Sick, so.
So, for me, I was actually thinking about this on the way here. Yeah. There was a particular thing that I started, let's say, 2 years ago. So like June 2023, and I was literally like, oh, right, it's actually been 18 months into this thing, yeah. And like, well, around that. And I was like, nah, God, like, thank you. Like, do you get what I'm trying to say? Like, for sustaining it this long. Obviously, it's more than 18 months, to be honest. Way more than 18 months. But it was just like, nah, God, like, thank you, innit? Do you get what I'm trying to say? Like, in terms of the consistency and the fact that the standards haven't dropped. Do you get what I'm trying to say? So yeah, so I was just thanking God for that because that's something that I was always praying for, innit? In terms of discipline and consistency. So, so yeah, man. That's good.
Thank God.
Yeah, man. Look, I want to thank God for just in marriage, yeah, just God showing that, listen, two's really better than one still. Like, bro, two's really better than one. Like, there's bare things that I'm like, you know, you just don't have an eye on, you just don't keep track of.
Yeah.
Do you get me? My missus just, fam, just picks it up, like, just does it and just gets it done. Do you know what I mean? So even there's one little venture that we were talking about, and I was just working. So my mind went there, bro, and she just went full throttle. She was doing everything, driving up and down, picking things up. And I was just thinking, fam, if I was literally by myself, I'd just be, fam, what'd I do? Do you get me? It will just be another excuse, like I'm tired today or I can't do it. But just knowing that you actually have someone who, like a helper, someone who's actually doing things with you. Yeah, no, thank God for it still, because, yeah, by myself, yeah, certain things won't get done still. So,
Thank God. Shout out, missus.
I'm thanking God for answered prayers, actually. I was thinking about it on the way here that, to be fair, like there was a point where I did not like doing any speaking engagements or anything like that. I didn't even like my thumb online, let alone, honestly. And then I moved into, do you know what, I don't mind. And then I've also been a bit consistent online. And I thought that is a massive difference in terms of from someone that didn't want to be online and now being consistent and people are being helped by, you know, what's been going on. Then I thought, you know what, your gift makes room for you because I'm even here.
Word.
You know, so, but yeah, I'm also extremely thankful that so much people are coming to Christ. Like with Hallelujah Challenge this week and obviously the church prayer and fasting last month, the amount of people that are being saved in our generation is so refreshing to see because we all know like what everyone could be doing. So yeah, I'm really grateful for that.
Did you dress out your testimony?
I dressed.
I did. What?
How will you shout?
Is that a thing that you can say, like what you dressed as?
No,
Because people will post it on social media that what they dressed as.
Yeah, they do one. They do like dress as your testimony night.
No. But I'm saying, but do people post it on? Because I've seen.
Oh
someone post it on
people,
But
people,
isn't it like it's not a secret place thing or something, or is?
You know, I feel like it's like an encouragement.
It's encouragement. I feel you.
People
to see more people doing it, innit?
Like holding like empty baby, like I don't know, cots, and next year they're saying, look.
I remember he said that as well. He was like someone had like
he brought one of them forward.
Like they had like a cot in the yard, and like they'll go into the room and be like, like, and I can't even lie to you. You know, yeah. I understand, and don't get it twisted. Yeah, I definitely. And this is part of the issue nowadays, isn't it? Do you get what I'm trying to say? Like,
we say you're part of the issue.
It's like, so I hear it in terms of walking in that faith, bro. Do you get what I'm trying to say? I hear it, and I've got nothing bad to say about it. But do you know what it is? That's like a level of mental fortitude, yeah. Because someone will come to your house and you're still gonna do your routine check on the baby. That's not.
No, but you don't have to do it when they're there.
No, but I think that's what they were saying that person was doing for like 2 years. They said 2 years until they had their baby.
The routine check is crazy.
But you know what? Yeah, like I always say, even in general, you know when you really want something because your behavior changes.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter who is there. You're thinking, look, this is the goal. Because that person too is also doing their thing, whether you're seeing it or not.
And it reminds me of the whole like touching the hem of his garment sort of thing. Do you get what I'm trying to say? Like, because that one was like, bro, like, by fire, by force, bro. Like, I need to touch this thing. Do you get what I'm trying to say? My deliverance must come. Do you get what I'm trying to say? My healing needs to come. So, like, 100%.
And how does desperation look, man? Do you know what I mean? Like, sometimes I look at myself and like, fam, do I really want the things I'm praying for? Do I really want it?
Yeah.
And the way the Bible talks about it as well, it's like earnestly desiring it, which is kind of like, do you know what I mean? It can easily meander into desperately seeking something. Do you get what I'm trying to say? So fair enough.
Yeah.
What a dress, boy. A couple of years ago, I would have done it.
Yeah. And everyone's like, oh, we're becoming like our parents.
Yes. What? I was
Yeah,
dressing,
kind of
boy.
good, boy, because the other side
I
are
dressed
really
them.
like
Bam.
their parents.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's true.
Listen.
So,
But no, you should, because I think even if you're thinking about it from like people who like solely believe in like the universe and stuff, they believe in manifestation. They do that, and you know, I guess it works for them, or you know, or not. But literally, like the Bible says, call those things that are not as they are. So Dress like your miracle.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
word.
Yeah.
Walk in
Word.
it. Walk
I
in it.
did-
And
I
take
did-
action as well. That's
Yeah.
very important as well. It's
Yeah.
not just that you dressed
Yeah,
up
you're
on the
just
day you
dressed up
dance.
and
Exactly.
you
And
go
then you
and
go
you
to
sleep.
sleep, you didn't do anything. Get active.
True.
Like,
Fam.
work on those miracles that you said
100%.
want to happen.
Yeah,
Just
yeah,
do you know
yeah.
what?
do the work.
I'm massive
Yeah.
on that one still. In terms of like where you want to be, like how are you preparing yourself for when you get there?
Mhm.
Do you get what I'm trying to say? You're gonna get there and be a day ahead. Like, so, you know, like it's so funny. Like, you know, like Apostle Josh Selman, yeah, he says like, listen, don't be one of these people, yeah, that your destiny helper comes, the person that's supposed to sponsor you or this, that, and the other, and they find you in bitterness,
Yeah.
It's
or they find
true.
you in procrastination, or
Mm.
they find you in.
100%.
Do you get what I'm trying to say? It's kind of like
Get ready.
Yeah,
always
yeah,
working
yeah.
kind of
Stay
mentality.
ready.
Yeah.
Exactly, stay ready.
No,
Do you get?
Like, I
So-
think someone said the other day as well that your skill set should match your ambition. Like in terms of whatever you're like aiming for, make sure you're also aiming to develop your skill set
Yeah.
in that thing. Do you know what I mean?
And the maddest thing is, it's kind of like, again, all of these like principles, yeah, biblical principles as well, they're all like in modern society, bro. So like in my workplace now, to get promoted, you have to already have been operating at the level above you or the level that you want to get promoted to for a sustained period of time. Do you get what I'm trying to say? And obviously, you're visible. Do you get what I'm trying to say? It has to be visible as well, innit? But it's like, that's literally what we're saying now.
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
if you want to
yeah.
get somewhere, like, show God that you want it. Do you get what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
100%.
You know, like, even when it... Anyway, yeah, let me not get too... Do you know what I mean? But, yeah.
No, you don't despise small beginnings.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
definitely had a bit of a conviction a few weeks ago, to be fair, like with work just being intense and, you know, and there's obviously other things that I do. And I was going to respond in a certain way. And literally, like, as I was going to, I just felt God say, shepherd the things that I've given to you well. And I thought, it's true, because if you don't shepherd what you have now well, what makes you think you're going to shepherd other things better?
literally,
Like,
honestly.
you know, like you're not able to even do the job properly that God has given you. So how are you going to run this business properly? How are you going to talk to your staff properly? So I thought, everything you do, you just have to shepherd it well.
Yeah.
Literally.
Facts.
But listen, even before we even start getting
Fam,
into
bro,
all
we're
of that,
getting into
listen,
it. I was gonna say, is that when we were chatting about with Kenny and other people as well, and that right now, how generous are you in it? People talk about when I get this,
What do you
I'm
have?
gonna
What
be
do you
generous.
want?
Fam,
Yeah.
right now, with what you have, how generous are you? Do you get what I'm trying to say? And there's an illusion that I'm gonna get this amount. Because I get this
But
amount,
then I'm going to change.
then I'm
True.
gonna
or you
give.
can't be generous because you don't have...
Yeah, you could
Yeah.
not have so and so. Listen, it starts now.
Mhm.
Do you get me?
Yeah.
Like, once you're trusted with what you have, you give what you have, you'll be blessed. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
It reminds me of when I used to say, like, listen, like, who told you you're empty?
Mm.
Do you get what I'm trying to say? And I feel like that's one of the things that was kind of like heavy on like the body in it in terms of last year. In terms of everyone felt like, like they would be impressed from every angle, sort of thing. And fair enough, like it did feel like that. But then from that, it's kind of like you felt like you had no resources to help other people. But like, it's all a perception thing.
yeah,
We'll get into
that's
it.
something to get into though.
Yeah,
the whole
no
thing,
word.
that the balance of, you know what, praying to God for more strength, but actually realizing when, like right now, I need rest,
Mhm.
or I don't actually have that much to give, or do you have much to give? You just gotta push
Just
further.
Yeah,
Do you get what I'm trying to say? Because
No,
it's
word.
like, we'll get into that though.
Yeah, we'll
to be
get into it. But listen, on that note,
fair. Yeah.
we got a special guest in the building.
Come on.
Come on.
Come on.
We got our brain balancing boss. in the
Come
building.
on.
we got
Brain balancing.
our mind mending mogul in
Come
the building.
on.
We got our psychotherapist connoisseur Laura
on.
Jane in
Yeah.
the building.
Welcome.
Hey.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Listen, welcome.
It's a
man.
lot
Welcome.
to
That brain balancing boss on it.
Yeah.
Still.
tell it to me after so I can write it. That's my dress your miracle.
But yeah, man, how you been, man?
Nah, I've been good. I've been
Yeah.
good. Really busy this week.
Yeah.
Okay.
Extremely overwhelming.
Yeah.
But yeah, do you know what? Hallelujah Challenge has really helped bring the
Mm.
equilibrium and
That's
just
good.
Yeah, that's good.
How do you
so-
manage it with like your sleeping pattern?
Well, this is the thing, because I guess January was doing prayer and fasting, so I was
Yeah.
sleeping early. And then now it's like sleeping a bit late. It's been difficult in the mornings, but discipline has been a thing for me since last year. So since last year, 1st of January, which was 2024, I've been walking every single day.
Okay.
And so because of that, it's like you just gotta keep on doing it.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
hard, but yeah.
You walk the same routes?
Different routes.
Okay.
Yeah. Different routes.
So what time
Some days.
What time do you wake up to go on your walk?
So I do you know, the walks I do at different times of the day.
Okay.
But usually if I'm waking up really early, it's to go gym or go work, depending on what time I'm starting. So, and that's the thing, you have to do it. innit?
Yeah. Are you a coffee girl?
No.
No, not at
I
all.
like matcha though, but obviously that's
What
only
is-
like
what
when
is
I'm
matcha?
around.
It's like
It's
that
like a Japanese
green thing. Where people jumping on that
natural,
recently.
yeah.
I said,
Natural.
I was gonna have it. I had it twice.
From where?
So I had the Mel's matcha one.
Yeah.
Didn't really feel that.
It
Tastes like-
loves like what's mainstream and that.
It tastes it tastes like cereal. And then one
Oh,
of
is
my
it?
it's for me.
Because of the maple syrup.
Yeah,
maybe,
I think it tastes like cereal milk.
It's really
You know the
nice.
milk
Oh,
left
yeah,
after.
yeah.
You know the milk left after.
Yeah,
cereal?
no, yes. Maybe
It's
you had the
alright,
oat milk
still.
one then.
Maybe, yeah. It tastes like that. Like so,
Fairs.
but then Erie made me one, which is all right again. But the only reason why I said I'm gonna try it again is because they said it's got natural caffeine.
Yeah.
Do you get me?
Yeah.
So
I can't have it by itself. Maybe you might be able to, but no. I like when it's mixed with
Yeah.
the milk. But
Yeah.
I like it from Blank Street though.
oh yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm not a coffee person. I just drink water.
What about when do you go into the office every day?
Yeah, practically. Well, I'm kind of like community based, different.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, I'm not that person that's like I have to get a coffee or hot drink. No, I'm not that.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, I hear it still.
No, fair enough.
Lemon water in the morning. But yeah.
Does
that's
lemon
it.
water wake you up?
I don't know. It just
Yeah, it does clear everything out.
it's just clear, yeah. Do you know what I mean? Gets rid of yesterday's sins. Literally. So no, but it's a good way to start the day and end the night though,
Yeah.
for sure. Like literally. And to be fair, it does like reduce your hunger, which is good. So I don't get hungry that quickly because of it.
Do you know what's so annoying? Yeah, there was one point where I kept on saying to myself, "Yeah, I need to start the lemon and water thing," because obviously people were saying like do it after a meal, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, and then like you know me, sometimes I just take some stupid shortcuts. So I started back, you know the Volvic lemon.
Oh my days!
No.
Oh my
Because do
days!
you know what it is? Do you know what it is? The problem was,
I'm-
if
I'm
I was
sugar.
on the move, yeah, if I was on the move, bro, if I was
That's
on the
got
move,
sugar in it.
Yeah,
bro,
go sugar.
it's sweeteners in it, which is even worse. They're
Fam.
spartan me and all that kind of rubbish, yeah. But you know, if I'm on the move, bro, I'm not buying a lemon and squeezing it into water, bro.
Why?
I'm just not. Come on, man. This is not my calling, innit? Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm just like, bro, all of that stuff. I don't like do all of that kind of like stuff that should be
that's
done in
funny.
your house. Should be done in your house. Basically, you should never catch me in preparation outside of my house. Do you get what I'm trying to say? You know, like
Fam,
even like
you
when
have
you used to
to.
go to work here and like warm up food and all that kind of stuff, yeah, bro. Like it's just a case of it goes in the thing and then that's it. There is no. You know, some people they'll be in it, they'll be like this. Nah, I'm not doing none of that.
You know what's funny? Doing Jan fast, because I was just drinking water, when I wanted to treat myself, I'd have like lemon and lime, Volvic water. So that was like, the treat. You know what I mean?
Have you ever put that thing in the freezer?
What, lemon and...
Yeah, those flavored waters.
No.
yeah.
So it separates the sweetener. Basically.
is
So
it?
when you're
Wow.
having it, it is actually it's wonderful stuff.
What?
It tastes like an ice lolly.
Oh.
So the flavored water, if you put it in the freezer,
Yeah.
and like when it begins to melt,
Yeah.
it's like it separates the sweetener from the
When-
water in it. So
yeah.
when you're drinking it, you're getting bare of the sweetener.
Oh.
Do you get
So
it? So
you-
it's kind of like
so
an
you
ice
Why
lolly.
freeze
do you
it,
like sugar like
So you
that?
freeze it, defrost
Bro,
it,
I
and drink it.
You know flavored water, yeah? I probably haven't had that in like 4 years.
No, but the maddest thing is, do you know what I remember?
Well,
You know
longer
back in
than
the day, yeah? Remember them 40p flavoured waters that you used to get from Tesco?
Yeah.
Used to slap it.
Yeah, the fizzy one.
Yeah.
I used to bang it still. But I don't even bang flavor. But when I was banging flavor,
Yeah.
just time
Yeah,
ago.
yeah,
But
yeah.
If you put it in the freezer, it's peak still.
I didn't know.
Oh, fair still.
No, fair play.
Fair
son.
enough.
Yeah, no, still. All right, calm. So, let's get into the little icebreaker. So, obviously, what we do is that we pick out an object in the room,
Okay.
yeah, and you have 1 minute to make a sermon out of it.
Oh my. Okay.
Yeah. There's no thinking time.
Wow.
So, we
okay.
pick it, the clock starts, and we go.
Okay.
Yeah.
And as always, I'll go first just to demonstrate how it goes. So, you lot feel free to pick an item, and I'll get the timer up.
Let's keep it light today, man.
Do you want to pick? Then do you want to pick from?
That one.
Ah,
If
cool.
we're beyond the baseline. So what do you mean by that? Let's just do like a candle.
Candle.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
Come.
3, 2, 1. So obviously, in this world, it tends to be filled by darkness. It tends to be filled by things that are wicked, things that are evil, by powers and principalities. We're called to be salt of the earth. We're also called to be light. Yeah? Now, there's different types of lighting. There's those who are street lighting. They're out on the streets shedding light. Yeah?
Mm.
There's those who are house lights. You know, they go into people's house and preach the word and share a meal. And there's others who are candles. There's others who are small in maybe stature, but big in impact. Those who are candles shine bright in the dark room. And I think that's what we're called to be. Light in the darkness, candles in dark rooms, the brightness of God in all situations. Our prayer is that God shines through us, shines through our love, shines through our speech, shines through our conduct, and shines through our mind. In Jesus' name, amen. Amen.
He's looking at the time.
Bro, I thought I was finished at 30 seconds. I was like,
I hear it.
Alright, cool.
I got a simple one for you as well still. So, you know, like the soundproof phone next
It's
to you.
funny because I was thinking about that as well.
Is it?
Yeah, I looked at it, I was thinking about it.
I can see you scattered the room, boy. Look at
So you have to pick your own
He was
one.
thinking about it. Should we give him that? Should we give him something else?
Well, you're thinking about soundproof?
Yeah, because when you said something simple and you turned back, I looked at that bit of phone there.
Yeah.
So we pick our own.
No, don't pick our own.
No. But
Give me
now
something else.
he's had time to think. You have to kind of pick
Give me
something
something
else.
else. Though.
What about that object there, that hand?
Yeah,
We've
you've
done
done
this
that
before,
before, to be fair.
We have still.
We've done it, yeah. Zoe's done it, but you haven't done it, though, haven't it?
I haven't.
Alright, cool. Let's do it. 3, 2, 1.
The world will tell you that you're like by yourself, basically, and like you're supposed to do things alone. But in life, we need a helping hand, and not just the hand of anybody, but we need the hand of God, the hand that is readily available for you. That when you fall, He's there to pick you up. When you've done wrong, He's there to hold your hand and walk you through the situation because He's there to be your helper. And as well as God puts people around you to be that helping hand for you as well. Because a lot of the time, we like to isolate ourselves, particularly when we've done things that are maybe not necessarily like the things that we should do. And we think that we're going alone in it. But when you reach out, there's people that God has put in your life to hold your hand and take you through situations. But He is also the biggest hand and the only hand that you should hold on to and not let go of throughout the duration of your life. Whatever situation you're going through, whoever it is that you find yourself with, and in Jesus' name.
No, that minute is long.
What? Again,
To be fair, if it's
I'm
under, it's fine, though, isn't it? Or does it have to be a minute?
As close to a minute as possible.
Yeah,
Yeah,
as close to a minute. Once you start hitting, you 30 seconds. It's like,
Yeah, fair enough.
alright, cool. So, and the bin.
The bin.
Alright, 3, 2, 1.
So in life, there are many things that we strive to achieve, right? And a lot of the time, we plan for our future. We want to be in we want to be in prominent positions. We want to be in places that are highly visible and quote unquote give us an image of success, right? Now, one of the things that we spoke about earlier, right, was about habits, right? And we were talking about successful habits. You know, there's a book called Atomic Habits as well. But one of the things that we need to be very aware of, right, when we're driving towards our goals, right, is stripping off things that are bad habits, right? Things like that need to quote unquote go in the bin. Yeah. Now, we spoke about preparing yourself for your calling, your miracle, your purpose. And how you prepare yourself is by doing the things that you need to do in order to be the person you need to be at the right time. And that includes stripping off the bad things, the rubbish, and throwing it in the bin. That one was motivational speech. There was no biblical reference in that one.
Okay.
But now you get the gist, Sharon.
Yeah.
Laura, the hat
there.
The
on
hat.
top of the camera.
Okay. 3. Okay.
Cool. You ready? Yeah. 3, 2, 1.
Sometimes we like to hide behind things. And usually, I guess, when we wear hats, it usually hides our hair, hides sometimes our forehead, etc. But we're all made in the image of God. So when you come in the likeness of God, we need to embrace that we are made in His image. So we need to strip ourselves from everything that is not ours, because usually it's projections and things that we shouldn't attach ourselves to. So we should remove remove it and put on a new armor of God, which is what we would describe this hat that covers us with the blood of Jesus, that we are in his image. And so we just need to get rid of everything that is not of God, and build our confidence in God, so that you don't always have to feel like you need to hide under that hat, because the real armor is the armor of God, not that hat that you used to hide your sins, because God has forgiven you. In Jesus' name.
Amen.
You say, are you not even looking at the timing? I was thinking, as you look back at that 54 seconds, I said, you got that time management on lock, boy. You see, you've done well.
Believe your words.
Natural.
Using your words.
That's natural. She'll double bluffing us, boy. They don't want you to know that they're good.
To be fair, one thing I'm genuinely not surprised at, but raw is that everyone that's come on has done it and everyone's done well. You know what I'm gonna say? Like everyone's like, as well, it's one of those things where some people are
just comments.
But everyone just done it.
I don't think people always realise that their ability to freestyle. Do you know what I mean? Because they don't always have to do it.
I feel like it gets harder for us though.
Yeah.
Having to do it over and over again. And that's why we all sound the same, where in this life, in this in this society, in these times. Do you get what I'm trying to say? Like, we all start the same ways. Buying time. It's like, in this time, ...
We've been added in Jesus' name to take some seconds. Take some seconds. Fam.
It's lit still.
Yeah.
Oh, that's the new word, isn't it?
Do you know what's so funny? You know that one of the things that I was like looking at before was when you talk about communication, and we talk about, so I do this thing sometimes, where if I don't now that I know what I know, if I don't want people to really lock into what I'm saying, I will say it like, so basically like, what we're doing is like run of the mill. Do you get what I'm trying to say? Mundane as possible. So for example, at work, I've been covering a lot, and like there's a lot that I don't necessarily know in depth in terms of what someone else was dealing with, like a project or whatever it is that they were dealing with. So when I've picked it up I'll understand it to a certain degree. So let's say I'll go to like level 2, but there's like level 8. Do you get what I'm trying to say? So I'll go to level 2, and then I'm given like an update to the senior like management sort of thing, In that one, I'm not doing all of the things that I've learned in terms of like, so I'll communicate and be like, go through the first, like, okay, cool, let me just pause for any questions, boom, boom, boom. No, I'm blasting through that whole thing in that way that I was telling you before. I'm just like, and obviously, and I say words like, obviously, boom, 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 so it's not really questions, you get what I'm trying to say? And it's just like, that's just like how I like perform now, do you get what I'm trying to say? So it's almost like, even when I'm saying like, it's lit sort of thing, it's almost just become part of man. Do you get what I'm trying to say? Like, it's just like, it's my connective word. Do you get?
It's lit.
It's mad. But it's mad still, I can't lie.
Yeah, that's what happened. I told you that at work one time, how my team started to run jokes, and they had a counter of how many times I say cool.
That's actually jokes. It's kind of racist.
Basically, because basically, when they're silent sometimes, someone gives a nut them now. Okay, cool. I'm like, okay, cool. Like, it's a filler. But I say it bare. Because there's bare fillers.
Yeah,
I know, like, fam, right, today you said it like 12 times. So like, say nothing.
Do you know what's funny about that? Yeah, you know when you say it to someone and they say it back to you, and you know it's because
you
call and respond.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? It's like, all right, cool, yeah, cool, mate. Yeah, do you know what I mean? Like, the funny one is when they have to. It's like, all right, see you later.
Okay, see you later.
See that.
I told you that my uncle used to say, no, Mike. And I used to be like, why you say Mike? Like, who's Mike? You say mate. Bro, I couldn't believe it. I was like, yeah, okay, Mike.
Yeah, Mike.
Yeah, Mike.
I thought, bro, it's mates. I didn't even correct him, to be honest.
Do you do a lot in terms of like communication and stuff like that in your work, line of work?
Oh, absolutely. Teaching people to communicate with me, with others, even in personal relationships. That's why when I said earlier, I always say, can you elaborate a bit more? What do you mean by this? So yeah, communication is a big thing, and comprehension. They go hand in hand for sure. So yeah.
Where do you stand on the conversation about so for example, like in this day and age, like they say the stuff about like speak your truth. Yeah. Like, and obviously I have like an opinion that is, I don't really like speak your truth because it kind of insinuates there's something other than the objective truth, if you get what I'm trying to say. So for example, speak your truth means speak what you believe to be true based on whatever you decide, right? Rather than actually call out what's actually happened or the facts of the situation, if you get what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
But then obviously, if that modern, the way like all this modern stuff, like kind of response to that is, if someone's like, yeah, but you done X, Y, Z and boom, 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 and you was doing this because of this and da, 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 and it made me feel like this, yeah. And you're like, bro, but I didn't do that. And I didn't do it because of that. Then that person is regarded as gaslighting, or do you get what I'm trying to say, or something like that, yeah, sort of thing. So where do you stand on that whole kind of that conversation?
You know what, yeah, even before you answer that, yeah, like what do you do?
It's you still.
What do you do when?
What do you do? Kind of, what's your role title? How do you describe what you do? Yeah.
And what type of, because obviously your thing has like loads of different types.
Yes,
so what type are you?
Okay, so I'm a psychotherapist. So we work with deep-rooted issues. So we do like the trauma work, self-esteem work. So yeah, we deal with clients on a longer-term basis. So that's the difference with counselling would be more short-term and probably wouldn't go into deeper-rooted work. So yeah, that would be the difference, and sometimes require 2 different qualifications as well. What else? So I work with all ages. So I do.
When you say all ages, like from what's
so
the range?
within a service, they usually say 0 to 18. But but I guess they say 0 to 18 because it's all classed as children. But to be fair, youngest clients are probably about 5, 6.
Okay.
Yeah. So do individuals, couples, family therapy. So that's that. And in terms of my modalities, I'm an integrative psychotherapist. So we have been trained.
Modalities.
Yeah, no, like you're break that one down. Obviously, I know what it is, but just for everyone else.
So the modalities is basically the different kinds of therapy.
Okay.
So I guess maybe the main ones that you've probably heard is CBT, person-centered, psychodynamic. So we've been trained as integrative psychotherapists across all the different modalities. So depending on what client comes in, we then formulate what modality would work best with what they're bringing, for example. But usually you're informed by a specific modality a bit more. So some people, even if you're integrative, you probably are more informed by person-centered. I'm more informed by psychodynamics. So I go all the way back to the beginning and work through with you, which is probably the most intensive. So you've probably, maybe you haven't, but you've probably heard of psychoanalytic therapy, etc. And to be fair, I think that's the main therapy that people hear, and that's probably why people run away, because they don't want to address certain things. But you always have to go back to the root, otherwise the tree's not going to be stable. So so that's.
Do you know what it is? But I thought you said so much.
What? I think the CBT one went over my head, even though I know it's cognitive behavior.
Yeah.
That's one. I think that's probably like one of the most common ones. Isn't it?
Yeah. So that looks at thoughts, behaviors, patterns. It's usually like short term. Well, it depends. It can be anything from 6 to 12 sessions, or you can even have more. But that specifically focuses on like your thoughts, behaviors, patterns. So you won't really actually look at anything in the past in the way that you would with a psychodynamic therapist. You might name that, okay, this is what happened. But you just have to see how it's kind of affecting your present and what you're doing moving forward.
It's kind of interesting still, because I've done therapy before, but I don't know what one I've done.
Okay.
In terms of how you've broken it down about like psychodynamic and the CBT. I know it's not CBT, because is CBT a combination of like issue and then things like tasks to like get over the issue.
Exactly,
sort of
So sometimes it's a mix of like solution focus as well,
So I'm not too sure which one I kind of done, to be honest with you,
You probably did person-centered.
Okay.
Was it just more like talking therapy, just kind of address? So it probably was, well, they could have been integrative, or they could have been a specific modality, but if it was that, just that way, it probably was a person-centered.
So how would somebody know, somebody who wanted a particular type of therapy, I guess, like know which one because when I did it, I used a platform called BetterHelp.
Okay.
So when I did it was kind of like they were asking certain questions or whatnot. I don't think I was categorized with a therapist based off of the answers to those questions.
Okay.
So if somebody wanted to do a specific type of therapy because maybe they identify like a particular issue or whatever, how would they go about like doing?
So I think if you are just starting therapy, you've never been, I wouldn't overwhelm myself with the modalities. It's more so which therapist works with the presenting issue. So if you're wanting to explore trauma, look for the therapist that works with trauma, because not all therapists work with trauma, for example. So look for the therapist that works with the presenting issue that you're wanting to speak about.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then that therapist will make the decision of whether they are the right fit for you. They might say, actually, you might need existential therapy, and they might refer you to someone, or, so yeah, don't get caught up in the modality. Think about more of what is my presenting issue and is it on their bio of what they can do.
Okay.
Now, how do you, because obviously a lot of these like sessions and stuff like that, they'll be like very deep and heavy and all that kind of stuff. And obviously that can obviously leave like a mark or an impact on yourself. How do you like, not almost like wash yourself of it, but do you get to say, how do you like decompress? How do you get, like, how do you feel lighter after, like, especially going through like one of these heavy? Because sometimes, I say like some therapists, they'll be crying with the person.
No, that
You're not
shouldn't be
supposed to do that,
happening.
so you're actually not supposed to do that.
That
You are
shouldn't
not
be
supposed to do
happening.
that, fam.
That shouldn't be happening. That needs to
You
be
heard it here
explored.
first, but your therapist is crying to your
Don't do
session.
that again,
Listen,
man.
which camera's on me? Your therapist is...
Don't get me wrong, like, of course you would feel things,
Yes.
and you might be led to feeling, like you want to but you can control. But yeah, that shouldn't be happening in the session, because then that becomes about you, because the client will then become worried about you. But in terms of how the energy gets cleared, so we have supervision. So supervision is where you will discuss with your clinical supervisor. So I'm also a clinical supervisor as well. So what we do as clinical supervisors is, as a therapist, you go through who you're working with, and we look at countertransference, transference. So these are just words that describe the therapeutic alliance. So what could be coming up for you? So if you are working with someone that has experienced the same trauma as you or similar, you kind of go through that process and see how it's now informed your practice with them, etc. And then if you're going through your own things, you should be in personal therapy anyway. But then just I always say you should always have a soul activity, even if you're not a therapist, something that is good for your soul. So, something that takes your mind off of things. I always say when the laptop is closed and the door is closed, you're off my radar. I could think of you, but not so much that, because otherwise that's a different thing that's going on there. So yeah, do things. I do something. So I'm born on the 16th of June.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
I'm 16th July.
Oh, okay. That's my dad's birthday, actually.
Oh, okay. Oh, man.
So every 16th of the month, every year, is my birthday. What's that?
I said, you lot might as well give them your passport now.
Every 16th of the month throughout the year, it's my birthday. So I do something for myself every 16th of the month.
Okay.
So it could be cinema, it could be going out to eat something, but just something for yourself.
I heard that.
And I don't speak to anybody on a Wednesday. I don't answer calls on a Wednesday. No, like I might respond to a voice note here and there, maybe towards the end of the day, but I don't communicate with people on a Wednesday.
Okay.
Just to kind of just
Clear
like,
your head.
yeah.
So what are you doing that day then?
So just everything else. It might be like life admin or like just a break from people.
Okay, it's the people.
Yeah,
Okay.
like in general. So it's like kind of like slow or no replies. But yeah, people know not to call me on a Wednesday.
Do you feel like it's restful being so disciplined with that, for example? Because like sometimes when you feel like you wanna rest, you wanna do nothing and think about nothing. So you don't even want to think about you've got a time slot to rest. Do you get what I'm trying to say? But do you feel well rested, basically, even though you're being proactively disciplined about when you rest and stuff like that?
Not necessarily. I think I'm definitely like highly driven. So sometimes I'm always on the go. But I always have to like look at the intention of things, like, where are you going? Calm down, do like this. Like literally, like, where are you rushing to? It's okay.
Yeah.
And to be fair, I just see it as if you don't schedule your rest, there'll be one day where rest will tell you that I had to teach you. So, and I don't ever want to be in a place where my body had to tell me to rest. So yeah, like sometimes you might think just laying down and doing nothing is like, oh, you're not being productive, etc. Actually, that's just a trauma trait, which we'll probably get into. But you should be doing nothing. Like even if it's for a few minutes, just regulate. Emotional regulation, which is a lot of people don't have because you're so highly driven, so high functioning, And it's not healthy. This is how a lot of Black women are getting autoimmune disease.
Mm.
Always on the go, always on the go. So yeah, rest is mandatory.
And how did you get to the point whereby you were able to just kind of like, so have those days and be like, cool, on Wednesday, this must be no communication. And then like after you finish work, I close my laptop and then that's it. So like, how did you get to the point whereby this is what the pattern is?
Burnout. Yeah, burnout and being extremely reliable. It's a lot. And I know a lot of people always talk about being the eldest child. No, it's the child that's the most responsible. And so, or the friend, the partner that's most responsible, etc. So yeah, it came off of the back of burnout. And I thought, I can't do this. Like, I absolutely can't. I need to. I think it came off of the Wednesday thing came off of the back of, I think for the whole week, every day someone was calling me and I was thinking, this is not normal. Like, that something can't be right here. Like, I can't be this needed. Like, you know, so I was like, no, I need to create rest days because other people are doing what they need to do what they need to do.
Yeah,
so you need to think about yourself at some points as well. So, and yeah, it's been really good. And to be fair, it teaches other people to have boundaries as well. So I can see my other, like, you know, friendships and stuff where they are doing certain things where it's like, okay, this is what I'm doing for myself. So yeah.
Okay.
But it definitely usually comes from burnout.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's crazy.
That's fair.
I thought that we asked like 1 million things already.
We're just fair to ask still.
Do you know what,
It's better to ask still.
Do you know what it is? I just remember because I didn't finish it off properly when I was talking about the communication.
Oh,
thing,
yeah.
But like, you know, like, so when I was doing that work on communication, I was like, one of the things that you do is you assess the words that you say, like often sort of things. So, you know, when you're saying like cool, for example, and like, do you do that work as well in terms of like, when you're speaking to people, or is it something that you pick up on in terms of like how often they say the same things? You know, like for example, like.
Yeah, like is a big one, yeah.
Everyone says like, oh yeah, like this is very, do you get what I'm trying to say? And for example, me now, I'm saying lit bear.
Do you get what I'm trying to say as well?
Yeah, exactly. I say yeah. Do you get what I'm trying to say?
Even yeah. You know what's so funny? Bro, you know bare times when I'm listening to the pod, you know there's bare times where all of us say yeah. It's actually funny.
It's interesting because it's a unified language. Like you all get what you're saying, but then I guess if you wanted to really assess it, it's like, okay, what are you actually trying to say? Like, what are you trying to fill those with? What are we actually commonly understanding between each other? Because sometimes when you go deeper, we don't. We're just saying it because we're used to saying it, but no, actually we don't. Which is usually in relationships, though. But yeah.
Do you have an example of that?
Sorry?
Do you have an example of that? Of like something that is usually said within a relationship, but when you kind of like go deep, it's just kind of like...
So I guess let's say, for example, like, okay, chores. Like, you know, like, okay, everyone's doing this chores, etc. And you know, your partner can be like, I'll do it. And they're so used to being like, yeah. And it's like, at first it was like, oh yeah, cool. And then you're not doing it. And it's a constant habit. And they realize actually you're using yeah as a filler word, but you're not actually doing it. So actually what is going is no longer a shared word anymore because you're not fulfilling your part of that.
Yeah.
So we need to explore what that means because now I can't trust your yeah because it's not met with actions.
Yeah.
Am I going there?
Do you know so funny? Do you know so funny? Yeah. Do you know so funny? You started smiling because I say yeah again.
No, you know.
I was about to say that.
What I was actually thinking of is like couples after having a session like that.
Yeah.
And whenever whoever's saying yeah, and they're like, look, you're doing yeah. That's exactly what I feel.
Bro,
that's what I started smiling.
Jarred as well, man. Because I feel like a lot of people go to therapy to determine who's right and who's wrong.
Yeah.
And that is dread for me. Like I'm just like, bro, like that's not. I don't care about who's right or who's wrong. I care about the best outcome.
And that's the attitude to have. And to be honest, most therapists will make that very clear from the on-site that it's not a battle of who's right or who's wrong. It's about actually, do you guys still have the same shared values and understanding that you did when you first got together? So yeah, couples therapy is my favourite, to be honest.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's a bit like...
I guess, sorry.
That's right.
That's even a new ringtone, man. That one is peace and tranquility.
Yeah, I guess, you know, I like watching people develop over time, even with individuals as well. But I guess with couples therapy, most people start at the end of the sofas and the aim is to bring them back together in the middle, even if it's not for them to remain together, but for them to remain in a place where they can be cordial. You especially if there's kids involved, etc.
Mm.
So yeah, because it's two people that have had two different lived experiences, trying to basically battle with what's right and what's wrong. And actually it's how do we actually make the puzzle fit together?
Yeah.
And you said that usually people who are couples, they start when it's bad, basically, as opposed to
a lot of couples now. Things are getting better, to be honest, but usually a lot of couples come where it's literally at the bottom, and then there's an expectation of the therapist making it
Fix it,
better, which
basically.
is that's not the aim. Yeah.
Do you, so before you do that couples therapy, you might not know, but do you tend to get to know their faith? Like whether they belong to a certain faith?
Yeah. That comes up during. See
Do-
how I just said
Yeah.
'cause I'm in
Yeah.
your. But yeah, so that usually comes up in assessment.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, or if it doesn't, it would come up because maybe it's usually a part of the issue.
And how does that, do you see like people, like couples in faith, do you see them address things differently, or do you find that whether you're on faith or not, it's the same issues, the same type of resolutions, the same problems that are coming?
Yeah. So the problems are the problems. However, people's faith either is what's keeping them going, which is a good thing. Or I guess if people are not on the same level as faith, is probably what is kind of one of the bridging factors. So it depends.
Okay.
And if somebody's of a Christian faith, are you able to kind of like, not like give them scripture or whatever, but like use what you know from a Christian perspective to kind of...
Yeah. So if they openly say like they're from a Christian faith and they actually specifically chose me because I'm of a Christian background, etc. Faith, then so we can bring in stuff. So I think I usually use that with my mothers. So my clients that are parents or about to give birth, go through different scriptures because it's usually rooted in fear and anxiety around labor, etc. So we can bring up scriptures and different things to kind of work with. Yeah.
No, that's good still. I thought that you weren't like, they would be like, oh no, kind of thing, like you can't.
So I guess you don't impose.
Right?
Yeah. So if you express it and, it comes, because even so, like I've got a lot of clients that are from Christian backgrounds and it doesn't mean that it always comes up, but it might just come up. So I guess it's open.
Yeah.
So yeah.
It's mad. So like the whole therapy thing, because I remember the year that I started to talk to my brethren about therapy. Now, who's done therapy? And I think one of my brethren done it first, and then it was like a trickle effect, innit? Of certain people still just don't really believe in it naturally, innit? Because the way we've grown up, they're just like, therapy's not for me. Do you know what I mean? But I've definitely seen an increase of the man them doing therapy. Do you know what I mean? Or doing some type of therapy. Your face looks a bit like what?
No, because I guess a lot of people talk about, therapy is not for me, etc. And I don't impose that, you have to have therapy. But I think maybe over the years I've realized therapy is not for you until you have to share your experience with somebody else every day. So when you are with a partner, so it's fine when it's just you, but when you have to share your lived experience with somebody else, that's when you might want to start considering it. Because not even with siblings, no sibling has the same experience of the same parent. So let alone a partner that you've not grown with. So
what would you say are some of the misconceptions? Because I think like, like when you hear therapy straight away, you think, oh my God, like I'm gonna sit, like the typical things that you see on the TV or whatever, or that somebody's there to fix you, or that how is this person supposed to relate to kind of what I've been going through. So what would you say are like the common sort of misconceptions about therapy?
Definitely that it's gonna fix you. When actually we just hold up a mirror to literally show you your blind spots and kind of guide you. You are literally the master of your own life. So, but it's just that many people don't have the tools and don't know how to kind of see. So you can be the most intellectual person, but breaking down certain things, you won't realize that, oh wow, this is what I was actually experiencing, because you're being guided in a different way. But yeah, that therapy is gonna fix you. That you only need maybe under 5 sessions. 5 sessions is what it takes to even build the therapeutic relationship. So What else is there?
With the 5 sessions things, I always think about like gym basically. Like you
Yeah.
can't go gym and you go 5
sessions,
times.
yeah.
What's
And
gonna happen after 5 times?
exactly.
Like you won't even necessarily get any stronger at all
Yeah.
within the 5 times. With
Yeah.
that, it's more so okay, maybe have like a little bit of a habit or something like that. But after 5 times, you stop. Doesn't really.
Exactly.
Mm.
Yeah. So that's literally a main thing. Another one is, I want to go with someone that looks like me, and unfortunately, it doesn't mean you're going to get the results that you think you're going to get. It's not about the person's race, it's about how they're able to work with your presenting issues. So it might be that someone of a different race is who actually helps you overcome certain things. Because one thing that happens that, it has happened a lot in therapy is that you need to think about the therapeutic relationship. Sometimes that person can start playing your parent and they shouldn't. Or even on the other side, that you might start to see that person as your parent when actually that's not how.
It's
And,
your
and a therapist would be able to guide you back to that. But yeah, I guess a lot of times when people it's okay to obviously want someone that looks like you, but there's something deeper in that. There probably is some abandonment issues in there that you want to fulfill. So, yeah.
You know, like you mentioned, like lived experiences a couple of times. So, like, kind of going back to that question I was asking before, like, do you ever challenge people's lived experience? So, for example, when I was talking about, or the question I was asking was about, speak your truth, for example, yeah, and that's like another way that they dress it up. And I'm saying I'm not talking about people in your profession. I'm talking about people just in general nowadays. Like, they'll say like, oh, like my lived experience or your lived experience was X, Y, and Z. But do you ever, and to be fair, this is probably not the place to start. Maybe you should start what like lived experience means from, I don't know, like a clinical perspective. But then afterwards going to whether you would challenge certain things if you felt like it wasn't consistent.
Yeah, lived experience is how you've experienced life. So that's your lived experience. And in terms of speaking your truth, I think it depends on how people use things. So from what you were saying, it sounded like when people want to speak their truth, it's what they're saying and nothing else matters, basically. And I guess if that does come up, it would be a case of, okay, but you're saying to me that this is your lived experience and this is you speaking your truth, and there's something in there that you want to be seen and heard. So I'm wondering why you're not giving somebody else the opportunity to also share their lived experience to see their perspective, because they also want to be seen and heard. So it's about actually understanding what is happening there. There's usually something deep rooted in somebody saying that I'm speaking my truth. It doesn't matter what anyone else says. Well, it does. But I guess that's the defense mechanism, because they probably went through a place of not feeling seen and heard. And so that's their defense now.
Yeah. Even when it comes to, so I, like, in terms of my friends, I probably have about 3 who are in that kind of counselling. I don't know what type of therapy they actually do. Now you said that, I'm going to be thinking that, I actually don't know what type they do per se, but obviously they're all within the field. And they tend to have a certain personality trait.
As in they are therapists?
They are therapists.
Okay.
Yeah. And they tend to have a certain personality trait in that, like, they tend to be that kind of helpful, like, there for people, that they have that similar trait. So for yourself, when did you know that, all right, this is the field you wanted to get into? Do you know what I mean?
How did you even get into
it?
Yeah, honestly, it definitely was God. So for my undergrad, I did psychology and education, but it was more education focused and like around policy and stuff. And I got towards the end of my undergrad and I just typed on Google, what do you call someone that does deeper work than a counsellor? Because I knew it wasn't a counsellor, but I wasn't sure. And then psychotherapist came up. And to be fair, usually, a clinical psychologist, there's so many different strands, but psychotherapist came up and I read it and I was like, oh yeah, sounds like what I want to do. I knew I didn't want to be a teacher of that sort. There's just a lot of things I just didn't. So yeah, I then started the process of applying for it. And I didn't get in on 2 occasions. A very
When you say
difficult.
applying for it, what were you
Applying for the
for?
masters.
Masters, okay.
Yeah. And it's very intense. There's like hundreds of people that apply, and it's a class of 22 people. So the first time I didn't get it because I didn't apply too late, to be honest. So it was the second time, I think they said my application got lost, and I just thought, yeah, it just didn't make sense. And then I went for the third time, and I was being interviewed by the lecturer, and I said, I've done this before, I've done this before. And he said, you know what, I do remember you, but it feels like you're more ready this time. And he had no clue what happened in the year before. And I was thinking, you're absolutely right, because I wasn't. But but I guess I didn't stop trying, because I could have thought, oh, let me just move on to something else. I didn't stop trying. And it wasn't even because I liked helping people. It just felt like I was connected to something, which I guess as time goes on, you realize your gift makes room for you. So I genuinely feel like it's something that was gifted by God. Like I always say, so after this, I won't remember what I've said. Unless I listen back to it, I don't remember. So I genuinely feel like God just speaks through. So, yeah.
That's sick. So, and even when it comes to like yourself and your friendship groups, 'cause you were saying that, look, there was a time where someone called you every day.
Yeah.
Do you get me? Or you're there for people. Like, how does your line of work affect your personal life? Like, whether that be friendships, relationships, like, and even do you self-analyze a lot? Do you know what I mean? In terms of yourself,
2
your actions.
questions. The first one, it definitely has affected friendships and stuff, because naturally I'm always been seen as the nurturer of the group, any group. So it just kind of was like transferable skills in that sense. But I quickly learned when I was doing my masters that you need boundaries for sure. I'm not your therapist. I can help you get a therapist, but otherwise it's not going to be a friendship anymore. So yes, of course I can be there to help you, etc. But ultimately I'm here to empower you to make your own decisions. So that had to change drastically. Which at the point when I realized that, it was actually okay for me, because I was already like overwhelmed with what you do on the course is a lot. And yeah, I guess I've just kind of like followed through with that. Some days it's different to others, but then I just remind myself, actually, no, you shouldn't be doing this.
Yeah. But wasn't changing that dynamic difficult though? Because I feel like when you have a certain dynamic in friendships, because I guess you have to vocally say, hey, you lot, listen, boom, this has to change. Or
Your therapist.
this is a real
Yeah.
therapist.
The thing is,
like-
you'd have probably had a conversation or something like that, and you say something to someone, and they thought that you were trying to use like your psychotherapist
Yeah.
powers.
No, I actually was just talking to you, literally, like, honestly.
Like, don't try to psychoanalyze me.
Yeah, my mum says that to me all the time. I'm like, I'm literally just asking. But yeah, so yeah, it's difficult, but it's not at the same time, because actually then I'm enabling your behavior, and that's not what I want. That's not what we should be doing. So now I'm fine with it, to be honest. Yeah, like, because I can still be of help and support to you, but yeah, I want you to be encouraged to make your own decisions. So I don't make decisions for my friends at all. And they, a lot of the times, put me in a position like, should I do this? Should I do that? So how do you feel about it? Like, what's coming up for you? Where do you feel it in your body? Different things, just to make you, make a decision. Because to me, that shows, I guess, if they were my client, then you haven't been put in a place where you've been able to make your own decisions. Somebody's been making your decisions for you. So that doesn't change in a personal relationship. Yeah.
Do you respond to what you feel like is not necessarily the spirit of the time, but the season? So for example, like I always make reference to, I felt like last year, 2024, was like a year where like there was just like everyone felt very heavy. Right? This year I feel like it's more about empowerment in terms of, like, the funny thing is you keep on saying empower you to make your own decisions, sort of thing, but it's kind of like that coupled with discipline and consistency and essentially just breaking cycles and old habits. So when you speak to someone this year, and that's just my personal take on it, this might not be your take, But does that ever play a part in terms of how you interact with your clients?
In terms of the season that I'm in.
Or the season? I don't know if you feel like, so I feel like maybe sometimes I feel like there's a general season
Okay.
for people. Do you get what I'm going to say? Like, or maybe for your church or whatever it is, yeah. So because of that, sometimes when I'm chatting to someone, I might address things in that way where it's like, listen, this is the season that we're in. Do you get what I'm saying? So this is what we need to be on. I'm just asking the same question. Like, essentially, does your, kind of similar to the question about how your faith interacts with your work sort of thing, yeah. But that's more of a specific.
Yeah. Not client-led, because every client comes with a different issue. So it'll be different. I guess in personal relationships, yeah. But it's more about, for the client, what season they're in and working with that. So, yeah, because even if I've got a client that is Christian and has made it clear, the word for my church and the word for your church is two different words. So it's more so, even the word for the church, what is your personal word for this season? And let's explore that, because there's a reason. It might be restoration, and it might have come from the previous year. You was extremely exhausted. So what's that? Let's explore that exhaustion so that you can actually live in the restoration this year. So it's about your personal season.
Very fair point.
Yeah,
in terms of how it interacts with your faith, interacts with your work, basically. So how do you see, has your work changed how you see faith?
I'd say faith has changed more how I see my work. Yeah. So like what I was saying earlier about shepherding what God has given to you well. I really take time with my clients. So even with the personal relationships, I had to tell people around me very early on, my clients are my priority. So it doesn't mean that I'm neglecting people around me, but I have to be extremely on for my client. Not because, they're paying, etc., but this person has come because they're in need of help. So it's important that I do what I need to do to ensure that I am of good service to my client. So whatever I need to do to research, I will do that. Yeah. So yeah.
I got two questions. So one, kind of off the back of that, do you pray for your clients? And then second question, so answer the first one first. I'll think of
The matter thing, the prayer thing, just quickly before you go here, like, do you see that story of the nurse that time that she prayed with someone in the hospital?
Yeah.
I think she
she
even
got-
asked for consent, and then they got rid of her anyway. Like,
So to be fair, it's different for us in that sense. They have more stricter rules. It's different for us. So in terms of as in session,
nah, not with them.
no, like
so because obviously before you said that after work is done, basically you close the laptop and that, innit?
Yeah.
And then just a question about faith interacting with, and then you said that faith changed the way you see your work, kind of thing, innit? So does that kind of
I've always prayed before my sessions. Always prayed before my sessions, and after some sessions, it probably has led me to, pray or just kind of just say some words. But I have prayed for a client before, like not in session, but after. Very, very heavy stuff. But there was faith there. But yeah, I prayed. And you know what? God really did a miraculous thing. And there was a bit of hesitation of like, should I? But I thought, no, like, I see the pain here. And it's like, God, like, I literally prayed for God's mercy. And yeah, God really did wonders there. So, and nothing is going to shift me from my walk with God. So if it comes to a place where they're like, oh, you can't do this, or you take it, because God will put me somewhere else. So
I remember the second one still, but now after the second one, I've got another one. But then the second one was basically, what were some of the common like themes and common issues that people kind of come to you,
come to therapy
for, come to you?
Ooh, narcissism.
Yeah.
We start talking about
when you talk about in church,
when we start talking
about
about
like people using terms and stuff, like misdiagnosis and stuff like that. So what is narcissism and like what is
it's so funny, but when we talk about the spirit of the time and that, this is literally one of the things I'm talking about. Like gaslight and then narcissism.
People
and
always
those ones they
the
throw it out. Buzzwords immediately.
Yeah.
And it kind of like as soon as you do it, you're like 2 up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you remember there was a video? I don't know if you sent it, where somebody was like, "Oh, do you think so and so is a narcissist, or do you think this is narcissistic behavior?"
Yeah.
The person was like, "Yeah." He was like, "Okay, so what is a narcissist?" They didn't know.
Yeah.
They couldn't answer
It's
it.
absolutely
Oh yeah, I
insane.
think I did.
They couldn't answer it. They were just kind of obviously again spirit of the
But
time,
they're
or whatever, just
narcissists.
saying certain things and whatnot.
That's absolutely insane.
So the common themes that people come to therapy for is self-esteem, confidence, trauma, whether that's happened growing up or just kind of situation. Work stress is a big one. I guess that's the individual therapy, and obviously couples different things.
What would you recommend outside of that? Do you feel like people don't come to therapy enough for?
Work stress. But to be fair, even so, like with a lot of organizations, they offer therapy and stuff. Family traumas is a massive one. I think people are being awakened and realize things, but that really shapes how you go about life. And I guess a lot of the resistance to therapy is because of how people before us would respond to different services, working with us. So, but you don't, unless you like it, you don't want to be a repeat of what you've seen that hasn't worked. So, yeah.
Okay. So
And then,
no, go on.
No,
I
go
thought
sure.
you had another
So,
one, yeah.
so you know that what we were talking about before, just about misconceptions with therapy. A lot of the people that have that sort of view of they don't want to sit down with somebody, they'll say that they have. So, like for example, like music is my therapy, or I speak to my friends about it, or I go to the gym. So, what's your view on like other outlets outside of therapy being used as opposed to both at the same time, or therapy like that? So.
I think it's good to have other outlets for sure, because sometimes it is heavy consistently speaking about certain things. I think you need to be honest with yourself if you're using it as an avoidant technique. And you don't want to actually address what is happening, because yes, it might be really hard, but until you address it, it's going to leak. So it's good to, and sometimes you could be in therapy, you would have gone therapy for some months and you might want to take a break and you might focus on pottery or different things. That's fine, but you have to address the root, because otherwise it's going to come out. And you don't want it to come out and you're not in control of when it's coming out. So yeah, I don't think it should be used as a replacement. You have to address the avoidance.
Okay.
Yeah.
But do you know what, your question before, sorry, I interrupted, but what is a narcissist?
Well, to be fair, some people say that everyone has a tiny bit of narcissism inside of them. So a narcissist is essentially how the easiest way to describe it is someone that only cares about themselves, like to the extreme. And so however that then translates in their behaviors, it always comes back to them. But I guess in terms of the way that it's being used in society now, you can do one little thing as, oh, that person's a narcissist. And it's like, no, actually, they're just boundaried and you're just upset that you don't have access to them in that way anymore. So it's okay to give people back their projections. You don't have to take it. But yeah, there are a lot of narcissists. Some of the narcissists are people's parents. Some of them are your bosses at work. They're everywhere. But their behaviors are, quite unique. So I guess now a lot of psychologists say if you are really worried that you're a narcissist, you're probably not. So yeah.
Someone's going to listen to
Someone's
that.
going to
Just
double
worry,
bluff and start worrying now. Someone's going to start worrying about themselves.
No, the ones that are, they're not worried. They're like, So yeah.
That is funny still. But it's funny because it's like, how, like self-care, yeah? Because basically another way of like describing this kind of narcissistic thing is like being selfish, like to a certain degree, or an extreme selfish kind of behavior, whatever it is, yeah. But then like, and actually, to be fair, you already covered it when you said that they're just boundaried, and you get what I'm trying to say, because self-care is kind of like about boundaries as well, innit? And then obviously understanding when you need to quote unquote pamper yourself and that. Do you know what I mean? But
I was gonna say, so are you in a relationship?
I don't like talking about those
Yeah.
things.
No. My question was going to be like, how much does it affect like
Sorry,
you
but
be?
it does
Like,
It's
how-
okay. It's
It's
okay.
Yeah, how much
No,
does
to
that
be fair.
affect you being in a because obviously as a therapist.
Yeah.
So so first thing, is it a prerequisite that the person you're with
Mm.
needs to have done therapy? Yeah, one, and then two. Do you psychoanalyze like people you're chatting to in that? No, because basically
I get that a lot, to be fair,
because do you know what I mean? In that like certain conversations, you know when you're like chatting to someone in the beginning.
Yeah.
So like, do you know what I mean? You throw away comments.
Everyone's trying to figure out the other person.
Yeah.
at the beginning, innit?
But these
So-
times, he might be at level 2, you are level 8.
You guys are level 200.
Everything,
Fam,
fam.
He says something, he says it
says
twice, he's like, okay, so.
Honestly.
Just write a quick note.
Yeah.
Save that one for later.
The mental whiteboard.
Yeah.
So, what you said, if I psychoanalyze.
Yeah, and that is counselling a prerequisite for whoever you're talking to.
No, like,
Okay.
I feel like as long as you're proactive in being self-aware in what's happening with you, that's fine. And I always say that it's good to be with someone that's teachable. So as long as you're teachable and you're open to things, because you might want me to be open to things that I wouldn't have considered, but I might be like, as long as it's aligned with my morals and values, then I'm happy to try.
Calm.
So yeah, it's not like, oh, you have had to. No, there's other things that you've probably done that's probably helped you, you know. And psychoanalyze naturally, yes, I do. But I don't go in there like, right, okay, I'm gonna see if this. No, it's just I'm having a normal conversation with you. Like I'm literally talking like this. And to be fair, already, if I'm speaking like this and they're like, oh, you analyze it, I already know you are not the one for sure. Next. But I know in 10 minutes if I can be with this person or not. Like I know straight away.
What are some of the things that you use to make that decision? And the maddest thing is, I wouldn't normally ask someone this because normally their thing would just like, you would feel it or the vibes, yeah. But where your thing is, elaborate, use your words.
Yeah.
No,
I literally asked you, can you explain that a bit more for me, please?
Yeah.
So before you answer it, I remember time ago in uni, there was one girl that I met. So we're just chatting here, and I was like, oh, like, if basically money wasn't a thing here in this world, you could do anything.
What would you do?
Like, what would you do? She was like, don't know. Probably be an accountant. I was like, you know what? No, fair
be
play.
An accountant?
Yeah, I was like, you know what? No, fair play. Fam, I looked up straight away. That for me, that for me, at that time, I was like, look, that might be fine for someone else, by the way. I'm not shooting down. Listen, you might love accounting, innit, to that level. But I was like, fam,
but you
be more quick. Like, you know the kind of answer you can give.
Yeah.
Money's not an issue, and you can do anything you want.
And where accounting is like one of those, like, it's literally popular for being a generally kind of boring.
Yeah. It's like, what type
profession?
It's like, what type of account? Like, you get the accounting for what? Like, what are you going to do?
A forensic accountant.
A forensic accountant. I'm just going to
add a little bit of spice.
I think for me, that was my 10 minutes.
You knew. Yeah, you just know, you know when someone's not being authentic. And for me, it's just be yourself. So what is this person saying? And to be honest, I feel like men say everything they need to say, and it's you that are making the decision of can I manage this or can I not? Which I'll probably venture into after. But yeah, so for me, it's just listening to what you're saying. I'm literally listening to every single verb now, like everything you're saying. Before, I'd probably be like, yeah, vibes. But as you grow wiser, it's like, no, this is potentially someone I'm going to spend the rest of my life with. So, yes, I really listen out to what they're saying. There was one time, oh my God, someone was speaking to me, and to be fair, they were Muslim, which obviously I just knew it wasn't going to work anyway. But
to say it anyway.
Yeah, no, to be fair, I didn't even entertain it. Like, they just stated their intentions. So it's like, okay, I'll speak to you. But I'm not saying I'm dating. I'm just, and I said something like, oh, Jesus is Lord. And he said, he is not. I said, see you later.
Bro,
do you know what's so funny? That was our parents' generation. They'll think it's an attack.
That was an attack straight away. What? He is not. It's crazy.
I literally just, I just
Wow.
said, absolutely
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
But yeah, even just like how, so for me, I always say to people, ask questions. Like, what do you think about, domestics in the household? What do you think about abuse? What do you think about hitting women or women hitting men? Just questions like, what's your blood type? I'm asking everything.
Yeah.
And I used to
Wait.
say this to my friends and they'll be like, oh my God, no, there's so many questions to ask, until they started asking questions. They're like, no, Laura, honestly. So yeah, it's just asking questions and just seeing how the person is with different scenarios. And I guess if you have a good conversation with someone, you can find out things in that first conversation.
Yeah,
What's your
facts.
relationship like with your family, your parents, etc. And I know like someone might be like, I don't have a good relationship with my mum, and someone be like, oh, red flag. No, find out a bit more like, what is it about that relationship? So yeah. So I'm not necessarily psychoanalyzing where I'm like, I'm not even listening to you because I'm too busy thinking about the exterior. I'm literally listening to what you're saying, because I might also not be the right person for you. Do you know what I mean? I might be the what is it, Lotsworth that looks so it's just about
Try, go
being
for a bid.
realistic. Yeah, I'm not that in Jesus' name.
Amen.
But I might not be the person for you.
Yeah,
There might be someone that's actually better for you. So it's listening to understand if this is even
When's the right time to ask someone what their blood type is?
at the very first.
Do you reckon?
Yeah.
You spoke about this the other day.
I
do you
hear that
remember?
though.
I was like,
I hear
Yeah.
it.
"Nah, bro."
I hear it still.
And furthermore, do you even know your own blood type?
I'll be like, Nonya. You saw ask me that in the first, man, Nonya. Obviously, they can't ask me on no day.
Love is love, but I guess it's the same thing with, if you're gonna accept to be with someone that is abusive to you, etc., you might accept it, but when children come into the picture, they have to live a life in therapy, in clinical units, having to work through the decision that you made. So it's the same thing with like traits, etc. Like, if you guys can manage it, but it's that child that's going to be in pain. So I think it's good to have the conversation, because if you both agree with it, that's fine. But let's just know from the very
That we agree with
beginning,
it.
you know.
No, fair point.
While you're talking, you said something about when men say stuff, and you said you would venture back into it.
What did I say? Okay. No, I think I was saying something like,
Men say everything.
Men say everything, and
yeah,
you have
and
to
you make a
manage it,
decision.
make
Yeah,
it,
that's
whether
it.
you can
Yeah.
manage it.
So even with that, you might think, oh, maybe I can manage this, but it's more so, there's, can you manage this? And then there's, can you live with this? And a lot of people feel like they can manage this until they get to the point they realize, I actually can't live with this. So it's best to actually see, can I live with this? Like, if this person is doing this every single day, that I'm waking up to choose this person, because that's what you're doing. You're choosing the person that you're with every single day. Can I live with this? And yeah, it's just not a question that people ask themselves, which, ends up in quarrel and stuff like
I think
that.
more time people just kind of dim down what they can live with. Do you know what I mean? That people make it. There's certain things they can't, but for the sake of, look, I want this thing to work, I can live with this. Like, people minimize a lot. Do you know what I mean? Like, certain things that people do, which is a tough one, because I feel like, one thing I was saying the other day is that when you get into a relationship, it's like a mirror. Do you know what I mean? So although you see this person does something like that, you might think, oh, it's a bit mad. Like, why do you do this? You then realize, oh, I do certain things that, are not good either. Do you know what I mean? Or I might think in a certain way that's not good. So in your mind, you're thinking, you know what? All right, cool. That's something I'm going to change. And the other person's mind, they're probably thinking, yeah, something I'm going to change as well. Do you know what I mean? So you start giving the benefit of the doubt that there's going to be growth and there's going to be change. Do you know what I mean? So there's always that space and that time that you give, and it's like, let's see if there's growth. But obviously, like you said, bro, is a risk, because you know that the person, this is something that they are actively going through, or that's actively going on in it. So it's a tough one.
Without being able to give, like, for example, specific advice on a specific situation, like, what's generally your kind of like advice for couples in terms of how they should approach their relationship, how they should approach their marriage, or whatever, whichever stage, to be honest?
Firstly, is remembering that you have to choose each other every single day. So are you happy with what you're choosing every single day? And if things have changed, which they do, how are you talking about that change? Because every couple has their shared values, or you should have your shared values. Um, and are you both still sticking with those shared values? What's changed, etc. I think weekly meetings are very important. From the start of your relationship to when there's kids, invite them into those conversations.
Is this married couples or relationship?
Any relationship, yeah. And this is the thing, people wait to get to a certain stage to start adopting certain things. And it's like, no, right from the beginning. So yeah, have those weekly conversations and be open to, being teachable. Like, what have I done this week that has made you happy? What have I done this week that actually maybe I can improve on? It's the language that people get upset about that is used in relationships. You could have said that to me a bit nicely. So, like what I've just said, what could I have done to improve? Rather than, oh, what did I do that was bad? Because if someone then comes and says, oh yeah, you did this, is like, okay, so you in your heart knew this, and it's not, no, you asked me what did I do that was bad. Whereas if you asked me what could I have done this week to improve, they would start from that place of, I liked when you did this, but actually if you added a bit of this, it would have been. So yeah, I think inviting change in a positive way for sure. But yeah, don't wait for certain stages to start adopting certain habits. Start it from the very beginning. And whatever you introduce, know that you have to maintain it.
You know the thing on, like, there's always, it's like how you say things more time. Yeah? One thing I always say is that there's always a better way to say things. So at what point does it become, it's not about how I'm saying things, it's just that you just won't listen, for example. Do you get what I'm trying to say? Or it's like, you keep on complaining about the way that I'm saying things, but how do you then get through to someone where it's like, actually, I've dressed this thing up as nicely as possible, but now I'm at risk. I've probably already lost a lot in terms of translation because I'm trying to sweeten everything up. Do you get what I'm trying to say?
So whilst that could be true, so on one hand, okay, I've done everything I can, and then it could be a case of, actually the other person could be really going through something mentally challenging that they're not able to see things as nice, because what's happening to them is just kind of overclouding everything. But they have to get to the place themselves to recognize that within themselves. And then on the other hand, but who has qualified that you're saying this as nice as you have yourself, but it's the other person that was able to say, actually, well, this is how I'm experiencing it. So just because you think you're saying it to me in that way doesn't mean that's how I'm receiving it. So it's like the love language stuff. You love people in the language that they say, and then you add it with yours.
The thing with that, so my only thing with that is that, for example, so for example, you said, for example, okay, what can I improve, as a way of saying that that's something objectively good to say, right? Rather than saying, oh, what did you do that was bad? Yeah? So if someone used that, what is objectively seen as a good way of saying it, and it's still perceived as, oh, like why are you getting on to me? Or do you get what I'm trying to say? Yeah.
So as in the person that started the conversation and said, what can they do to improve something? And they've received feedback.
No. So I'm saying, you know what I'm saying? I think still off the back of, like, there's always a nicer way to say things, isn't it?
Yeah.
So if I say to you that, do you know what? I think these things could have improved last week.
Okay. So what you're saying to somebody else.
Yeah,
okay,
exactly. Yeah. And then they're still taking it in a bad way, basically. And it's about the way that you said it. Do you get what I'm trying to say? And I'm genuinely just talking about a situation where you're just saying, you're having that check-in, and then you said it, and then it's kind of like they're still getting annoyed, sort of thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because, and the reason why I'm asking this question, it's kind of like I was looking at sort of like victimhood sort of thing, and it doesn't necessarily one for one translate into what I'm saying now, but it was the whole mentality behind always thinking that someone's trying to do something to you.
Yeah.
So, like, it gave a good example when I was looking into it, where it was like, so for example, someone walks past you and you brush shoulders, and instead of you thinking that it's an accident, you think that the person bumped you intentionally.
Yeah.
Do you get what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, sometimes I feel like we're dealing with that kind of, we're just dealing with that kind of like mentality sort of thing, and it's hard to pierce that when you're, no matter how much you dress up what you're saying.
Yeah. Well, that's internalized issues, but it takes that person to get to a state of awareness for themselves to realize that actually I'm playing victim a lot. And I guess when somebody is in a state of feeling like a victim, and to others it seems like they're enjoying it. For them, it's maybe that's the only time that they feel like there is attention on them, because maybe they're not usually attended to, etc. So they've become used to that victim mentality. But then,
is that a bad thing though?
no, it's not a good thing, because that can breed different stuff, and also naturally people will just get tired and will just distant from you. So you still have to take responsibility in that victimization of how can I take accountability for my actions, which obviously accountability is something that a lot of people don't like to take, because it's you putting that mirror to yourself and having to identify your traits, which people find very hard to sit with themselves, which is why COVID was very hard for people. You have to literally take a moment to sit and look within yourself, and that's distracted by different things, work, different stuff. So yeah.
You know, it's man. When I spoke about Jordan B. Peterson earlier on, So I watched something where he was talking about his daughter and like one of like her one of the challenging situations that she went through, like physically sort of thing, And he was like to her when she was going to school, something like that, it was almost like, "Alright, cool, you're making this choice, and that's good." Like, but like essentially, I can't remember, and I'm paraphrasing, but he was like, don't use your situation as an excuse, basically. So he was like, as long as you keep a very firm line on your injury, what you can do in spite of it, and what you can't because of it, like as long as you keep those lines very clear and separated, like you should be good, basically, innit? And he was like he felt like that was one of the best pieces of advice that he could give her.
Yeah.
She obviously did well and X, Y, Z and boom, boom, boom. But he was saying that to speak to the whole kind of like victimhood in terms of like how a lot of the time those lines are blurred. And then that's when it's like, there's going to be bare stuff that you can't do because of, for example, you might be physically impaired, innit? But then at some stage it's got to be kind of like, don't just lick your wounds sort of thing, but there are stuff that you can still do, basically, innit? And yes, I guess that's the sort of like backdrop that I was asking the question based on, because it's like sometimes I feel like in this day and age, especially, bro, like this whole victimhood, I feel like everyone is kind of like licking their wounds a bit. Do you get what I'm trying to say? It was a tough year last year. Do you get what I'm trying to say? Like, but then it's kind of like, I feel so much more like this year is about like, listen, stop licking your wounds and like, let's get
active.
And like, it's not like these things aren't still going to happen. Like, it's not like you're not still going to get pushed back and and all that kind of stuff. But bro, like, get active. Do you get what I'm trying to say? Like you said. But yeah, I really feel like this year, I feel like the atmosphere is shifting, bro. I can't even lie.
It's
I feel
still
like
the beginning of the year.
I know. I hear it.
Yeah,
I do hear it still.
Of the year.
No, but I hear it though. But I still feel like
there's a different energy for
it's
sure.
a different one. Like it's not like all the other New Years.
Yeah.
Do you get what I'm trying to say? It's not like 2024 New Year. It's not like 2023, 2022. It's not like any of them.
Yeah.
It's not. But do you get?
No, for sure, 100%. There's definitely a different energy in the atmosphere, but then there's still a lot of people who are still
of course.
in the previous years, but no, not in a
You're
shady
so funny.
way.
You know that meme? Where it's like, oh, you step on
That's theirs. Yeah. And I guess it's when they're ready to move forward, they will. And if they're not, then that comes with different things. It might be that people move on from you and, leave you in that space. But people are only going to change when it feels right for them. So you can say something to somebody and they can hear it, but until they're ready to hear it for themselves, they're not going to make the change. So
no, it's worth. That's like that thing. You say something to someone, and like they don't hear it. Then someone else says it to them. They're like, that's such a great idea. Like, I've never heard anything so good in my life. There was something I was asking you about before when I was messaging you about
family systems
and epigenetics.
Yeah.
Chai,
What's epigenetics?
One time I heard her speaking about it, I was like, yeah, man, you gotta just talk on the pod.
So epigenetics is the gene and DNA work of our bodies. So essentially it determines how we operate based on the people that we've come from. So they can be modified based on different things. But I guess I was speaking about in relation to family systems. So I work with family scripts. So everyone has a script that they follow based on the family you've come from. So there's the corrective script, which means you go completely against what your family has done and what they live for, and you do your own script. There's the inclusive script where it's like, okay, I'm gonna take bits from what they've done and I'm gonna do my own stuff. And then there's the script that you completely just follow exactly what's being done. And then there's this, yeah, okay, it's just those three actually. So essentially the way that we live life would be rooted in where you've come from. So that's your gene work, etc. So even when you're thinking about you being anxious, etc., and you try to look at where is this coming from, and sometimes people are like, I genuinely don't know where it's coming from. It's coming from your epigenetic type, your gene type, your DNA. You probably came from a mum or grandma because your egg. So you've actually come from your grandmother's egg. And so your grandma could have been someone that's extremely anxious. And so you might not understand where that comes from, but actually it's literally the transgeneration epigenetic DNA that's flowing through. So I guess even when we think about it from like a scriptural or like religious perspective, this is probably where the prayers of like bloodline prayers come in.
I remember we were speaking about that one time. Like, what was the difference between patterns and actual
Curses.
generational
Yeah.
curses and stuff like that?
And the maddest thing is, so when I heard this year, that's what made me, because I think we was even talking about generational curses and stuff like that then, innit? Because it was a Bible study, innit?
Yeah.
And we was talking about sort of like the stuff that Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob did that was repeated later on by Isaac and Jacob, or Jacob and so on and so forth. But yeah, that's mad, because one thing I never knew before that was that, for example, things like what I would see as personality traits could be rooted in your actual genes. Bro.
Yeah.
Do you get what I'm trying to say? Which is mad. Do you get?
Yeah, so I guess there's a lot of research that's been done in terms of like the different wars, the children who came from the people who were affected by the like Holocaust, etc. And the different mental challenges they deal with. So some of the studies that we followed where there's like maybe 5 generations down of somebody that's experiencing like severe depression. And it's linked back to they came from like children of the Holocaust and stuff. So just how far down the line that goes.
Yeah.
So yeah, and I guess this is why the more you become self-aware and you know yourself, you will know an energy that's not yours. So it's literally about clearing that energy. Like when you recognize this is not me, like just get rid of it. I always literally just say whatever energy that has been exchanged with mine, I clear it. Just, you know, because it's very easy. Even when you're having a conversation with somebody and you've literally taken that, the next day you might be like, oh, I'm so tired. And it's like, well, you haven't really done anything. And actually you've literally just there's been an enmeshment in that conversation. And obviously you didn't know. And you've literally now maybe carried the weight of that conversation. So you've got to shake things off.
It's I remember seeing something about that actually, about slavery. And they were looking at like trauma from slavery and how it affects black people in general. And I was just like, that's insane. Do you know what I mean? Like through all the different, I just thought that was insane because I remember seeing something like that. But more prayer points, that boy.
But it comes up in the conversation around I don't need therapy. You know, that's something that's rooted in. I'll speak for the African culture, but even just black people in general, like you're sworn to secrecy, don't tell anyone your business, etc. This is something that's happened over time. And that can translate into, no, I don't need anyone knowing my business in therapy. That person's not your friend, they're a professional that's literally sworn by a body that has to keep your information confidential. And you're well within your rights if your information isn't confidential to report that. But that comes from those intergenerational patterns and conversations. But family one's a big thing, but I think people don't actually recognize environment in the generational patterns of your environment. You know, the friends that you've grown up with, the area that you've grown up with, they also shape your epigenetics as well.
So, and that's the thing, because it changes. It must do, obviously, because that's how it gets passed down from your grandparents and stuff like that. So then what we're saying is that these situations, when you're experiencing trauma and all that kind of stuff, it's actually finding its way into your DNA.
Yeah.
That's mad. So.
Yeah.
Off of the back of that, how would you like advocate for somebody to like do therapy, like as a therapist, and then what like as like just people who have family members, friends, or whatever, like how would you advocate for somebody to do it if they have the mentality of it's not for me,
Yeah.
it's not working, all that sort of stuff?
I guess it depends on the generation, to be fair. Like if you're speaking to an older generation that are quite far removed, it's quite difficult. I guess there's different ways to invite them to do things that will cause them to look at their behavior. So I always say speak to people in the language that they understand. So what is common for that person? What is it that they enjoy doing? And how can that be used as a tool of conversation to explore difficult things? Because they didn't grow up in a generation where they felt safe enough to do that. Um, but I guess with our generation, it's a bit different because it's yeah, so it's something that we're open to doing. So it's just kind of just having conversation around, okay, like what is your kind of views around therapy? Why do you feel like this? And they might have a very good argument. So then it'll be like, okay, so what's your outlet? So how do you know when you're not doing so well in this? How do you know that you're exploring these things in a way that is beneficial for you and this other person? So kind of tapping into their conscious to see, are you just thinking about yourself or have you considered the other people around you? And sometimes they might not make a decision there, but it might just leave like a thought in their mind that they might later on do. So yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Well,
Wait, listen.
Listen, we've got a lot to think about. innit?
Everyone's
Wow.
talking, I'm just taking notes in my head.
yeah,
fam.
yeah,
Do you know what it is? See that epigenetics one, bro? Trust me, that one had me stumped
peak
for a
stuff.
minute because it was just like, damn, like, you know, like, so since then, you know, when I've been saying that, like, I've been doing like vitamin drips and all that kind of stuff, yeah. Like, part of it all was just to try and like, just manage what was going on, like, inside my actual body, innit? And it's like, when it comes to stuff like, so like, you know, do you know, one thing I really wanted to ask you about, yeah, was like how to process when things happen, yeah. How should like one try to process, or what are some of the ways that people can try and process feelings, thoughts, emotions? Do you get what I'm trying to say? All that kind of stuff. When even on a day-to-day or when something happens.
I think it's circumstantial, to be fair. So for example, something like grief, we don't usually advise to start therapy at the very early stages of when you've experienced grief. We usually say up to 6 months, just kind of go through the raw emotions. And then from maybe 6 months post, then you can come and explore that. Because you're probably still in freeze and it's difficult to work with somebody that is in freeze because they need to process those emotions, just whether it's in their body, etc. But I guess in terms of anything outside of grief, in terms of just processing emotions, I think don't look too far out of what you are already doing. How do you feel comfortable processing your things? Because a lot of times people will tell you how to process your own process, but how do you feel comfortable with it? And if it's a conversation around, actually, I'm just completely avoidant, then we need to explore where that comes from. You probably saw this, you probably saw in your household that nothing was getting sorted, everything was just hidden under the carpet. So it's an innate feeling within you. So that's something that we have to then explore, that initial relationship that you saw, and then move on to you. So there's a lot of work to do prior to even you. So yeah, so it's about just kind of being comfortable with how you're doing things already. And then kind of build on that.
Are there any sort of like things that people could do, like if they're, for example, because obviously, and I understand there's like free therapy as well, innit? But if let's say for whatever reason you're struggling to get to a therapist,
Yeah.
are there things that people could do at home? So, for example, one of the things that we spoke about before was like journaling, right? But are there things like that? Like, how do you feel about journaling? Do you think it makes sense? Is it something that?
Yeah, for some people, like, are avid journalers, like they journal every day. Some people it's like circumstantial, or you can journal like every 3 months, or so it's about when you feel. I feel like journaling is something that you feel led to do, unless it's something that that's your practice. But there's breath work. I don't even think people are breathing properly, personally. Like I always ask people, when was the last time that you actually heard yourself breathing? You're just going. So take time to do your 4-8-4s. So it's breathe in for 4, breathe out for 8, breathe in for 4. So just breathe in, because I don't think a lot of people are actually regulated. you're literally just, it's the next thing after the next thing. And
Is
then
that
that's
to
what leads to
relax
burnout. Yeah. Just to kind of regulate yourself. Because otherwise I then kind of question, what place are you making decisions from if you're just constantly on the go? And someone that's constantly on the go and not giving themselves room to process and breathe, then you're probably used to chaos, really, which is something that needs to be explored.
Yeah.
But it's never always started with you. It's always started before you. So it's always things that has to be looked into before we come to the present state, and then how we can work on moving forward. So even if your first experience of therapy is CBT and it's extremely helpful, at some point you're probably going to have to go and do a bit of deeper therapy to address other things. So yeah.
Chai, where can the people find you? Because
Yeah, for
can't
real.
lie, this one people are gonna.
They're gonna be asking
You said
questions.
you was getting calls before, but
Yeah.
can't lie.
So you can find me on social platforms. So it's Laura Jayneu, so Jayneu. So yeah, that's on LinkedIn, Instagram, TikTok. So yeah, Laura Jayneu. So you can find me then. My emails and stuff are there. So yeah.
And if someone was to get into contact, like if someone wanted therapy, for example, could they contact you for that? Is that how you're working at the moment, or have you got a defined?
Yeah, so I've got a therapy company as well as, so right now I'm really tight on private clients, so I guess it really depends. But I've got a therapy company as well, so there's other therapists as well. But so upon assessment, I'll work and see who I can put you through. But at the moment, I've got a small number of people I can see, very small. But we can see what we can do. Okay. So yeah,
that's good, man.
And then and just to hear it like directly from you as well, yeah. Do you think therapy is something that everybody needs?
I think it's something that everyone should experience. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah. I do.
That's a good approach.
It doesn't mean that the therapist has to look exactly like you. It's about the therapist being able to work with your presenting issues.
Yeah.
I feel you.
Okay. Yeah. Word.
I feel you. No, I
Hey,
can't lie.
listen.
Listen.
Appreciate
I've learned
it.
a lot still.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Honestly.
Like I've got like 25 prayer points.
Bro,
To add on to man's prayer list now, fam.
You know, so funny, even when you said the breathing thing, I started doing it.
Yeah. Trust me, I was waiting for it to write it down.
I can hear myself breathing so loud right now.
Write it down, bro. 44.
Nah, Laura, honestly, thank you so much for
No
listening.
problem.
Yeah, for real.
No
Honestly, it's been
problem.
great still.
Yeah, no, there's resources. I don't know if you guys already put out some like free therapy platforms, or just also as well, people need to pay. That's why they're not. Yeah, but there's a network called Empowerment Network at the moment. There's a waiting list, but it's not too long. But you get 12 free sessions.
Wow,
so yeah.
Oh, that's it still. So yeah, no, you heard it here first.
You gotta check that out, man.
Everyone doesn't need therapy until they enter a relationship. So that's.
Hey.
Thank you guys.
No, thank you for coming, man. Honestly, appreciate it, man.
Yeah, I love every single time.
Yeah, man. Love.